February 8th, 2017. This is the Overdose Talk Show. What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Yo.
Hello, David Box. Hello, Andrea. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you guys doing? Good?
Good, man.
We're great. It's beautiful here.
Thank you.
Enjoying a beautiful evening.
I don't know why I just said
Lovely
thank
weather.
you.
Taking
I
some
know.
pictures.
I liked it. It was fine.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Shit.
Yeah.
We are having some weird weather up here.
I was just talking about
Why? What do you mean? There was a tornado in New Orleans yesterday, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Your weather is way weirder. I'm sorry. I was
going
going to go in a different direction.
Inconsiderate.
Yeah, and that's very rare in these parts.
I heard you came close to being swept away by a tornado.
It wasn't really close to where I lived, and I didn't even know it was going on. I woke up really late, and I think our other sister Katie called me and was like, "Hey, was that tornado anywhere near you?" I'm like, "This is the first I've heard of this tornado."
I certainly hope not.
Completely unaware of the tornado situation.
It was lurking outside your window watching you sleep.
To be honest, I didn't even know that was a possibility here. I've never heard of a tornado around here.
That seems so weird.
Yeah, and apparently it is really, really uncommon. But
it doesn't seem like it should be able to happen.
yeah, it happened. There was some damage to some houses, and some shit getting thrown around. So yeah, it's pretty fucking weird in New Orleans East.
Wow.
So that's not really anywhere near me. But what's going on with your shit?
Here's what I've noticed is, well, we've been unseasonably warm all winter. We've hardly had snow since before Christmas. And, it snowed a little today, but none of it stuck. And I've noticed the homeless. Usually they have, because up here they only have homeless shelters, when it's super cold out or during the winter. I thought it was seasonal, but I guess it's based on what the actual temperature is at the time. So there's just, a bunch of people who should be living in a shelter right now who are just wandering around. I see literally every intersection by where I work. And, they're everywhere.
I had a run-in with a homeless guy today.
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
A run-in. Yeah,
Can you bring Alex up, or Alex get on your mic or something?
Sorry. Yeah. Turn me up a little bit. Yeah. I stopped to get some fruit at the store. There's a usual spot in Downers Grove where homeless people always hang out, and I had a whole bag of fruit. And I didn't have any money, but I was like, "Yo, dude," I was like, "I got all this fruit right here. Do you want come take as much as you want?" And he's like, "No, I don't like fruit."
The homeless guy turned down
I'm like, dude, you have to eat. And I started looking at him weird, really looking at him in the eye. Then I could kind of tell he was a little fucked up. But
you don't say.
He was nice about it though. He was like, he was like, I'm sorry for turning it down, but no. But I'm like, what the fuck? You have to eat something, right? Or can you just live off crack cocaine?
Just forever.
Yeah, or alcohol. How long could you live if you just drank alcohol?
Not very long.
Well, how much crack are you smoking?
Yeah.
Or how much crack?
Yeah, you'd have to have a good balance of alcohol and coke to stay moving, and functional. I've known people that were such bad alcoholics that they ate very, very little, and drank a lot of booze every day from the time they woke up to the time they passed out. But I've also...
It's high in calories.
That's how our LGBTQ correspondent used to be. That's why he had to quit drinking, John Black, because, and hanging out with him was not really fun. I was glad that he quit because... It would be stuff like, he would eat a tiny, I swear, just a very tiny amount of food each day and drink all day. And I would say, let's go get breakfast. He'd be like, oh, no, I can't get any food down until after I have a few drinks. Wow, jeez, what the fuck are you talking about? And then, when we're hanging out, everywhere you go, he's just puking under a bridge, puking blood and shit. And I'm just like, oh, this is nice, But he stayed alive.
Not doing that now, though?
No, he's been clean for 9 months.
Is he any more fun to hang out with?
Yeah, he's way better, honestly.
Oh.
He wasn't somebody that you're like, I can't wait till John gets fucked up. No, not at all.
You were supposed to say no there, and we were all gonna laugh at his expense.
Yeah, he was not.
Yeah, I really missed that.
He was not a lot of fun. Yeah, I know. But I don't want him to hear this. I'm afraid of telling him like, "Oh yeah, you were a lot of fun when you were drunk." And,
Oh,
and
man.
him just
So
I was just about to make a couple jokes down that line.
yeah,
All right, I won't.
It would probably be a lot funnier for the show, but I don't want to see him go back to that. It was fucking horrific.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I've been around, and I've known a couple other people like that, and yeah, you can stay alive ingesting an amazingly small amount of food and an amazingly large amount of liquor for a long time.
Yeah.
Your life is
That
your life is no good, but it's
totally.
You can stay alive. So
It'd
I don't
be
know.
weird that you would literally turn down something nutritious, though. We have, you know
Right.
what? And I was thinking, so you're offering him bananas. Maybe he's thinking like, oh, I gotta fucking carry these bananas around. They're gonna get all
Yeah.
squished in my backpack, and I'm never gonna eat them. And
Well, I was like,
I've given homeless people like dried food, granola bars.
I've
Yeah.
thought about I've had the thought a lot about getting a box of granola bars, keep it in the car, see, just toss one to every
Yeah.
homeless person I see. I've never
Man.
done it though.
We used to keep. We went to the dollar store one time and made a couple of packs with like gloves and like a toothbrush and some toothpaste and like toiletries and a couple of dollars, like $5 in each one or something. We would just give them to homeless people that we saw. We knew one guy. We gave him $20 one time, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna spend this at McDonald's so that I can stretch it as far as it'll go."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
There
were
you
like,
go.
"No, dude, there's a grocery store
He's
right
loving it.
there."
I see the same homeless people every single day
The same one.
when I
It's
go
weird when you
to work.
It's weird when you know then you have this weird relationship with them.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same exact. There's 3 dudes that I see every single day from between the train station and where I work.
Do you ever give them anything?
Well, yeah, dude, a lot of the
With scared looks.
a lot of that's all you give them.
Like I make that repulsed look with my mouth where my lips draw up. I
Yeah.
kind of expose my teeth and
Like you
flare
s-
my nose.
You sneer?
Ugh.
Is that a sneer?
Yeah, is that what that is? Yeah, I sneer
Possibly.
at him.
I'd have to get a good look for myself to confirm, but that sounds like a sneer.
I deliberately avoid one guy because when you walk by him, if you acknowledge that he's there at all, he'll be like, "Good morning."
Oh my god.
and
you're
you're not gonna stand for that shit, huh?
No, man, the thing is I'm too nice, so I'll make eye contact for like a split second and he'll do that thing, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, "Yeah, all right, good morning." And then he starts going on and on like,
Right.
"The stock market's going up and down, shit's all crazy."
Is it
Yes.
now?
And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, well, have a good day, man, shit."
Yeah, dude, that's a shitty
Yeah.
game to have to play when you're like a nice person. Because I do the same thing. I can't just be like the guy that just ignores homeless people all the time. You know what I mean? I can do
I
it.
got real good at it, man.
When I live downtown and stuff like that, like in the French Quarter here, I mean downtown. You just have to because you can't. They're
Dude,
just everywhere. But also, I do it way too much where I'm like, I know it's gonna turn into something and he's gonna try to get something from me, but they're like, "Oh, hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And it's like always the art of it that they're really good at is then like drawing you in and making you feel like it's awkward for you to walk away. Which,
Hey man, I'm in love with you. I got diabetes, man. Look, check
Right,
out my
yeah,
foot. Oh,
yeah.
I just gotta get some crackers.
immediately, hey,
Like, oh, I got some crackers. Yeah, dude, I really like. There's a brand that I love at 7-Eleven. I really just need a couple bucks.
and then they start going into something about how like their brother died and their cousin slapped them at the funeral or something. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't care.
We had
God, here you go. Shut the fuck up.
yeah.
one time when we were in St. Louis, a young lady approached us and said, "Do y'all believe in Jesus?" And we were like, "Nope." And she was like, and we just like kept walking.
Yeah, that was hilarious. All right, there is one.
God, we are really terrible people. This is
Wait. No,
Let's-
there is one couple that I see on my way back to the train station that have a dog with them. And like I see them feeding the dog and everything, and I'm like, all right, these people don't have a home, and they still are prioritizing a dog, and I really connect with that. So I give them money, and I pet their dog, and
That's good. I would
Yeah.
give them money.
yeah.
Why do
Yeah.
I like a dog better than I like a person?
Oh,
though?
there's a guy
Because
who
I
has a
do.
cat.
I love the homeless people with pets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
They're
a
the
dude
best.
with a cat, and I give him money too,
But
but
I
I don't talk to him.
I was thinking
because he doesn't talk.
yeah.
Do you stand? He says hi to you, and
Yeah.
you ignore him and just start talking to the cat. Just look look at him for 2 or 3 seconds.
No,
Go,
no.
Hello, kitty.
It's just him with the cat. You know, he's got the cup. The money goes in. He nods.
Right.
You know, that's it.
Okay.
Illinois
He's like the cat.
Illinois homeless people kind of suck though. They're all uneducated. Like I wonder what
They're
Washington,
uneducated. That's the problem.
No.
Go
But
get
I
your
wonder what
education.
Washington D.C.'s homeless people are like. Like people that talk
What
about
the fuck are you
conspiracies.
talking
And,
about?
What college did you graduate from?
I don't know, but like I bet in D.C. the homeless people are nuts. Just me? Okay.
I don't know.
DC has like a very they have a pretty big poor population,
Yeah.
and it's very segregated. And
No, but I don't know. I'd like to like talk like conspiracies with a homeless person in D.C. I don't
Why
know.
would they be
Like,
different than? What are you talking
Maybe
about?
maybe they've seen like some shit.
You
Yeah,
think
dude.
you think
Maybe
the
they- maybe-
homeless people in DC are like privy to the inner workings of like high levels of
I
political
was
and
trying to steal a pie off a windowsill, and I caught a glimpse of Miss Clinton without a human suit on.
yeah, you know what? In fact, instead of that saying, "I wish I could be a fly on the wall," they should say, "I wish I could be a homeless person in DC." They fucking
Yeah.
know everything.
They're privy to all the new shit.
Maybe
I was eating out of the
Maybe I'm
dumpster
wrong.
at Comet Pizza, and I found some little kid parts
I will say
in the dumpster.
the people I saw in that video of the protest at Comet Pizza were like they looked like for retards. Are you
What
allowed to
in
say that?
God's holy name are you blathering about?
Does somebody need to like slap him in the face and throw a glass of water at him or something? What's going on over there?
He's smoking a joint to himself is what's going on.
All right, whatever. Let's get on with things, anyways. Somebody had to ruin the flow at some point.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, have you guys noticed that it seems like people are sort of divided on this healthcare issue?
No.
Wait.
Is that happening?
Yeah. The debate between two of our favorite people, probably the two politicians that we've made fun of the most in the past couple of years, Ted Cruz and Bernie
Actually,
Sanders.
yeah.
I thought about it. They're my two favorite senators.
Yeah, they're really hilarious. I mean, both of them are fucking great. And I'm watching this
In
thing.
completely different ways.
Yeah, so when I heard they're debating, I knew immediately, okay, we're doing that for sure. And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, Bernie Sanders, if he's serious and genuine, I just think he's like dumb. He just comes across as really dumb to me, but I don't think that's what it is. I think he's a really artful and experienced politician who knows how to prey on people's emotions and fears rather than actually address details and have a real plan and a real philosophy. You know what I mean? It just is so irritating to listen to this fucking guy talk, dude.
What is
I
this
like his
debate
accent.
even about? Like what?
What does the winner get?
Well, yeah. What's the goal?
There's a
in this?
health care.
It seems like it's just like we just need to have these
the
characters argue about this so
Yeah,
that people
it's-
know what opinions they're supposed to have.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's just like a show to
Yeah.
get people fucking pissed off at each other
Like-
about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Pick your talking points.
The
and there you go.
topic was what the effects of repealing the Health Care Act would be. And Bernie Sanders starts out by explaining his side of it. Do you guys want to check that out? I got the opening.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I got the
Yeah, and-
opening comments right here.
I listened to this already. I just from this first part, I was like, this dude totally could have beaten Trump if he just would have not had the election stolen or given away, whatever he did.
Well, yeah.
I think he would have beaten him for sure, yeah.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, he would have destroyed Trump. I'd bet money on that.
Yeah, everybody
it went
pretty
that-
much
if it went
agrees
down
on that
that
at
way.
this point, I think.
Hey, I was watching some shit on Pizzagate, and I heard a guy call Hillary Hitlery like a bunch of times.
Yeah, you
And
didn't,
I
you didn't
call
make
her
that
all
up.
the time.
Yeah, people have been doing that for a long time.
I never claimed that I made it up. I thought
Oh.
you were claiming you made it up.
No. That's an old one.
Oh.
Reptillery. That's the one we
Reptillery is
Yeah, you
ours.
did.
Oh,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
we go. All right, cool.
All right, let's check out a little bit of this debate. But to elaborate for anyone who's a huge Bernie Sanders fan, I don't know, dude. I don't know how you guys don't see how cheesy and cookie cutter of a politician he is. He's like nothing new at all, and he's very trusting of government and naive. It makes me think that he can't possibly believe the things he says, that he's actually just a shill, you know?
Dude, that's exactly my conclusion from like 15 minutes of watching this. He's a total shill. Well, no, I knew that like 2 minutes in.
So let's check this out. Play. There we go.
Questions from Jake and myself. As moderators, we will guide the debate, and we will begin with 2-minute opening statements on what should happen to healthcare in America. Senator Sanders.
Okay, now.
Let me begin by thanking
First,
CNN
you
for
got to do
sponsoring
that.
this debate.
Thanks
Let
a
me
lot.
thank all of those who are watching. Let me get right to the point. Senator Cruz, like most Republicans, has said that he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act, or so-called Obamacare. Let me tell you what that will mean to the American people. It means that if you are one of 20 million Americans who finally has received health insurance, forget about it. You're gone.
Okay. Well, you could just buy insurance still of your own, right? A lot of those people. I know the pre-existing conditions is a thing, and that's what people always use to defend this. But like, who can argue with that? Nobody's on the side of insurance companies as far as pre-existing conditions go. For the most part, there might be a few people somewhere, but you know what I mean. Like, it's all this other shit. There's always one good thing in a giant bill like this.
Yeah.
But so how many of those 20 million people really are going to be denied insurance because of you know what I mean? That's just the amount of people that got their insurance out of 320 million people in the country through the new Affordable Health Care Act. But they don't get it for free. They're still paying for it.
Yeah, they're still paying for it.
That's what they should have had a debate on. Fucking, why are you all retarded?
Yeah, that should be the debate topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, dude, it's just ridiculous the way that this guy Bernie Sanders, he always wants to just buy into systems that are fucking us, and he's like,
he's such a government guy.
Yeah, we just buy in more.
Globalist.
So like the Healthcare Act. Yeah, like the problem is then there wasn't enough people that paid insurance into the system. There wasn't enough people. People don't pay their hospital bills. That's why it's so expensive. No, people don't pay their hospital bills because it's unreasonably expensive. Because you've been healthy your whole life and you end up in there for a couple of days, out of some unlucky circumstance or whatever, and you end up with a $35,000 bill that you just look at and laugh like, yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
like good luck, everybody.
Right, yeah, and so that and the idea of like taxpayer funded university tuitions, like we're supposed to buy in more heavily to this university system where they're gatekeepers to a better life, and they're promising you a better life when there aren't even the jobs out there to support it. Already how many fucking college graduates I've worked with in restaurants. It's fucking ridiculous to recommit to these systems that just fuck us. You know what I mean? This is why I don't believe that a guy like him could really even believe what he's saying.
No, he does go into, a little bit later, which we'll get to, but he does go into how the healthcare in this country is rationed to people who have money and away from people who don't have money.
Right, and everybody agrees that's fucked up in a way, And I don't even know that I necessarily disagree with like the single payer system at this point. I disagree.
No, me neither.
I disagree
It's
with the
weird for me
insurance
because
companies being part of writing the legislation so that they profit fucking way more.
Yeah, and that's a big point that Bernie Sanders tries to make a bunch of times throughout the debate too, which is if the insurance companies can't make money off of you, they're not interested, which is why it should be regulated that's not the end all be all.
But then why is he always for this like obvious Band-Aid solution kind of shit? If you understand that, then why did you support the original Healthcare Act in the first place?
Yeah.
Like
Ted Cruz had an early retort to Bernie saying that they're just worried about money. Something about after.
All right, yeah, we should probably listen to more of this. But
Yeah.
I also want to say, like, if you are he talked, like I was saying, about pre-existing conditions and a few other things like that. If that's the reasons that you support a massive bill with, and according to Bernie Sanders, he also disagrees with a lot of it and it needs to be improved. Why you have the power to introduce simple legislation to address issues like pre-existing conditions, don't you? One paragraph fucking shit, like we always talk about. You know what I mean?
It'd be cool if someone made a one-page bill.
Exactly.
and we've talked about this on the show before, like the Affordable Care Act is like kind of a nice idea, but why did it have to be attached to a bill that made it illegal to not purchase health insurance?
That's what that.
Like, if it's about making it accessible, then that should be the law. If it's about controlling everybody and forcing them to buy into this insurance scam, that's different.
Right.
I don't remember how old I was when I was like still in high school when that was proposed, and I'm like, that's why should they force me to do it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even,
yeah.
like,
I mean,
it's just like before like all this. Yeah. It's just.
and at the very
don't
least,
force it.
how dare you penalize people in their taxes who probably don't have health insurance because they can't afford it week to week, month to month when they're supporting their family or whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? It's just absurd.
Right.
And
I mean, Andrea, didn't you say yours went up?
I didn't have health insurance. I just never had it.
a ton of
But
people
just-
went
it was
up, yeah.
expensive. It was
It
expensive.
was expensive
right?
as fuck.
Look,
I looked
it
into
works
government
out.
assistance for it, and it wasn't even enough.
Yeah, it's
for
worked
me to
out.
be able
It's
to
worked
afford
out
it.
well for some people and not well for others. That's the truth of it. But the people
Right.
who it hasn't worked out for didn't have a choice. That's the fucking problem.
Right.
So let's get into more of this. Hold on.
You're off health insurance. And that means when you get sick, you ain't going to be able to go to the doctor.
Fearmonger.
And when you end up in the
Totally.
hospital, you'll be paying those bills for the rest of your life.
Talking
Or
down
maybe
like
you'll
you're
go
a
bankrupt.
classroom of third
But the
graders.
repeal of the ACA means that if you are one of 10 million senior citizens who today is struggling with the outrageous cost of prescription drugs, your prescription drug costs are going to go up on average about $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
What the repeal of the ACA means is that
And again, he always does shit like this, where you leave out the obvious point that maybe the fucking pharmaceutical industry that pushes a lot of these prescription drugs is probably the biggest issue and probably, you know, one of the major contributors to the great expense of healthcare. You know, and
Yeah.
the fact
That does come up later.
That yeah.
Yeah, I know,
That
but he's
actually-
saying now. But look, he just talks in circles because it like he'll agree to that later. But right now he's saying, you know, well, people don't have access to the prescription drugs they need, and it's like it's instead of addressing the fact that we need to revise the entire fucking healthcare system, not just the way that you pay for it. You know, the same as I
Right.
feel about education. We need to take a new approach
Right.
to
Oh, yeah.
education, not just fucking pay for it with tax money and change the way you pay for it. That's his idea of reform, is you change the way that you pay for the existing system and you don't really change anything. So like instead of addressing like, look, well, hey, you know, maybe we need to look into the fact that our doctors don't know anything about dietary solutions and natural solutions, and a lot of times they make people's conditions worse or just do nothing to help them. You know what I'm saying, Andrea? Of course you know. And
Of course I know.
yeah,
Dude, so many, almost all doctors like will just completely ignore like. It's like Eastern and Western. They won't fucking agree on shit, and they won't agree that vitamins are fucking essential. And there's all
Right.
this shit, and they fucking don't talk about GMOs. They don't talk about fluoride. It's like they don't really like. They just really know a lot about one thing.
they know
They're
how to
fucking-
sell drugs.
Sell
Yeah,
drugs.
they're fucking-
Sell them.
They're
Yeah.
they're the
But that's
That's
the
what
kind,
it is.
and
they're,
that's
they're
the kind of.
they're the small time dealers. Our government's the king.
And I've known a few good doctors who weren't like that, but they're few and far between. And
Definitely.
very like
you know,
very
and
few.
also legally, sometimes they can't tell you stuff that they might know that would help you. You know,
Yeah.
I had
That's true.
The doctor I used to go to actually really liked the fact that I didn't have insurance, because he was able to prescribe me stuff that he wouldn't be able to prescribe with, you know, through most insurance plans. And he explained that to me. He's like, look, there's, you know, I had a staph infection, and he's like, I'm glad you don't have insurance. You're not using insurance because I can give you the stuff that really works instead of the stuff they make me prescribe. You know,
Damn.
and
Fuck.
that's the kind of reform we need, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, we've talked. Speaking of Kratom, he's not going to bring up anything like that. I'll guarantee you. He's so the big revolutionary who's fighting for the people. He's not going to bring up the fucking prescription painkiller industry that's ruining lives left and right, and the government corruption that's trying to ban natural substances that could replace it. He's not, dude. He's just a fucking fraud. He's an
Yeah.
obvious fucking hack
It was
politician.
it was already fucking proven too. So like the election proved it. He could have.
Oh, but Bernie's still out there fighting.
Nominee.
Is he?
I've seen so many fucking idiots on camera say like Like, what do you when asked, what do you think about him selling out and Hillary? Well, he's still fighting the good fight, man. Like,
yeah, no, he's playing the character of the guy that fights the good fight, but is really just spewing vague rhetoric.
Which is a villain in my book.
All right, well, we got to get through more of this. I don't know why. We hate it already.
That if you are suffering with cancer, with diabetes,
cancer,
with serious mental illness, you will be put into a position where you may be rejected from any insurance at all because you have a pre-existing condition. And
this is what I'm saying. This is the only thing he's got. He's got one move.
Conditioned by the insurance companies because they might have a baby. Is the ACA perfect? No. Nobody believes that it is, and nobody believes that we do not need to improve it. But the debate is...
Well, again, how come these guys don't fucking go, okay, we can't approve this bill because it's going to cause too many problems. We need to simplify it. Let's get some of these more important things done.
Right.
What the fuck?
Whether we kill it entirely or we make improvements in it, and I will tell you, overwhelming majority of the American people say, do not simply repeal the ACA, make improvements. Last point. The United States is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a right. I believe we should move in that direction. The ACA has...
Did I just have something crazy in my ear? Did he say that? The only country on earth? Did he say that?
No, the only major country.
Okay, sorry.
Major country.
Yeah, I did have something crazy in my ear then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's because we don't want to be a part of the EU, just like a ton of countries are pulling out of the EU because it's a fucking globalist system.
Well, and it's also a trade-off. Like, to me, the reasons that the healthcare industry is so expensive could be addressed in other ways, but it being free market has caused it to be to rich people, it's the greatest healthcare in the entire world. People fly from all over the world here to have certain procedures done. And okay, so yeah, it really sucks that at this point people like us can't get access to a lot of that stuff, and we'll probably die a lot easier if we get a serious illness than someone who's got the real money to fight it. However, you can't knock the fact that the innovations were made for capitalist reasons and may not have been made otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
If socialist healthcare systems don't produce the same innovations as ours, so we need to find some balance, because it's fucked up that what prevents you from getting procedures that could save your life is fucking bitch ass money, but
right.
Yeah, or a job with a large enough company.
Yeah, so, but,
I don't
know. To me, the solution is never more government involvement. We could do something, though. I don't know what.
Yeah, like, what is it, though? That's the problem.
I know. I don't know. More preventative health would be good. Better diets.
Yeah.
Yeah, better.
Well, and I was going to say, doctors are not allowed to recommend food to you unless they're like certified in nutrition.
Right.
Like, they're literally not allowed to talk about it with you. So when I went to go see a doctor, and a new doctor, and I told her I had an autoimmune disease, and she said, "Oh, what do you take to regulate that?" I said, "I eat this and that and this and that." And she was like, "Oh my God, that's great. What a relief. I don't have to treat you for that." So she was able to support that I was already doing it, but she would never be able to tell me to do it.
She almost has to do it in code, though.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
All right, let's check.
I have had a doctor tell me what not to eat. Oh, that's all.
What did you?
I said I had a doctor tell me not to eat. What was it? Bananas and strawberries. Don't eat those.
Okay.
That sucks.
It's not exactly the same. Yeah.
I've had so many different doctor experiences, but 80% of them are terrible. They don't.
All they want to do is touch your balls, right?
Right.
And finger your asshole.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I had a female doctor one time that I had to have like a physical from, and I was like 25, and I was really, really mad that she didn't like try to have sex with me when we were alone in the room.
Dude.
I was very offended.
Up until like 8 months ago, I had the same doctor from the time I was a baby. So like it was this old Asian lady who would touch my balls.
Sweet. Did you start to get into it as you got older too?
Yeah, like Asian porn's like the only thing I can't get into.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something wrong with it. All right, let's check out more of this.
We have got to go further and join every other major country on earth and say that if you are an American, you are guaranteed health care as a right, not a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Senator Cruz, what should
I like the idea, but how are we
Yeah,
going
but
to
how do
make
you
it?
get it without the government doing
And how do
it?
we make it so that it's not just a ploy to make a small number of people a shitload more money?
Right.
You know,
Dude,
There's no way around
and
that. at
actually
this point.
fix the problems we're talking about. But hold on, you know
Yeah.
what? Let's keep going here because this is gonna take forever.
Yeah.
happen with healthcare in America?
So this is Ted Cruz.
Well, Dan, I think I get an opening statement as well, so I'll start with that,
Hello.
which is just simply saying thank you guys for
Well,
hosting
thanks
this.
a lot.
Thank you for
guys for
Bernie
hosting.
for joining this, and thank you to CNN for hosting this. You know, often in
Bernie
politics,
Sanders.
we have
Bernie
debates
Sanders
that are-
is just like a fucking dumb old man. He was just fidgeting with his lapel mic and just taking it off and putting it back on. That was that noise. Like, just don't touch that thing, dude. You're not supposed to be touching it. Ooh, Ted Cruz has his American flag pin on. Does Bernie Sanders have one on? That's controversy.
Probably
Likes that
not.
are 60 seconds or 90 seconds on a topic, and I appreciate CNN devoting real time to this issue because it matters. Healthcare is personal in a way that is different from most other political issues. Healthcare affects our families. It's our moms. Healthcare is our kids.
your mom.
It's the future. It
Oh.
can quite literally be whether we live or die.
oh,
And this is an issue
more fear. More
Yeah.
fear.
where Bernie Sanders and I have fundamentally different approaches.
Sure.
Bernie and the Democrats.
You talk vaguely kind of sounding like the rhetoric of one party. He talks vaguely kind of sounding like the rhetoric of the other party. Yeah, we get it.
Government
Yeah.
to control
Different.
health. I trust you, and I trust your doctors. I think health care works better when you're in charge of your family's health care decisions, when you can sit down with your doctor and decide the care that's best for your family without government setting rules, without government rationing, without wait periods. And that's the fundamental divide we're having.
Holy shit, Bernie Sanders has a Che Guevara pin on actually instead of the American flag.
This seriously.
Don't check that out for yourself, but that's what's going on.
Yeah, just take our word for it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing,
This
the
seems like a
huge thing that
movie.
he's overlooking with his argument though is poor people. Anybody
Well,
middle
yeah,
class
dude.
or below.
I
Oh,
know.
Yeah.
But
And
you know,
he's got a
It's
great
a great
answer to that.
idea. I mean,
there
it's
already
wonderful, but like
there already
I think
is a
there's only one
ton.
man.
Sorry to
deals
cut you guys off, but there already is a ton. I know there's plenty of sob stories too, but there is a ton of government aid going to poor people who have medical problems already. There is. You know what I mean? I know
dude, it's hard to get though for someone like me. It's hard to get.
No, I understand.
Like
It's
I
not.
had
I know
a
that enough.
broken tooth one time that has never been fixed because I couldn't figure out a way to pay for it without health insurance.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm just saying there's two sides to it. You know.
Yeah.
I understand. It's
The
not
rich side and the
it's-
poor side.
kind of. Yeah, I guess it's not working for a lot of people. I totally get
Yeah.
that. But you know, there are people that get a lot of money for that because you know, I mean, I've done it myself. I've gotten the government to pay for some of my hospital bills. They just came in and said, like, do you have insurance? No. Are you fucking poor? Like, yeah. Do you want to try to get some of your bill reduced? Like, yeah, I would like that. And then you just like,
No, thank you.
yeah, you apply through like this social worker or whatever, and she gets, you know, a bunch of your bill knocked off apparently through some kind of subsidizing or whatever, you know, if that's
Yeah.
the right word, I'm not sure. But you know what
Well,
I
and
mean?
there's-
That's some government program where it's like, I'm poor, pay my bill. And basically that's what happened. So
At the hospital, are you talking about the hospital by us?
no, I'm talking
Oh.
when I was in there for like 6 days. It
Oh,
was
that one,
gonna be
yeah.
like fucking 60 grand or something, you know, and they knocked it down to like, I don't know, a few thousand somehow. So
That's pretty amazing.
yeah,
We have a Catholic charity that pays bills at our hospital.
when I was doing that, I was still
They
so
denied
sick that
me,
I don't
though.
even really remember what was going on. I just
Yeah.
knew it had something to do with the government, I think. So anyways, that's how I know. And that was before Obamacare. And by the way, while I was in that hospital for the 6 days, I had a few complaints about how they had everything automated and how it didn't seem to make sense. And like nurses were just kind of like following procedure without thinking, and I had a few bad experiences because of that, where even I knew what was going to happen. Like when they took my blood sugar while I was eating, and they're like, "Oh, your blood sugar's high." I'm like, "Well, I'm eating right now, so that might."
I said through a mouthful of applesauce.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the nurse is like, "Whatever it says in my machine that I fucking stick you with insulin." So they fucking put a bunch of insulin in me, and like 30 seconds later, I was pale, sweating, and like couldn't fucking talk or sit up anymore. And they're like, "Oh shit, you need some sugar." I'm like, okay. And they're so like, drink this, eat this applesauce. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, so I kind of told the doctor about that, because I told them before they gave it to me. I was like, I don't think I need that. And they're like, no, you have to. You definitely do. And then so it made me fucking whatever, totally crash. And I told the doctor about that, and he's like, yeah, wait till Obamacare kicks in. Everything's going to go in that direction. And like every doctor I talked to hated the idea of Obamacare. They did
Weird.
not. Yeah, they were not in support of it.
Are you telling me doctors are woke?
Some of them, and they understood that it was gonna limit their choices even more. I think a lot of doctors are already pissed at the conditions where they have to work within these parameters that are established by lobbies, basically.
Yeah,
so,
and that's what they get. That's really what they get into this debate. The only thing they can agree on is that the problem is the insurance companies, and it's just like.
Well, they also they touch on Big Pharma and the FDA too, and like the process to get drugs
that's all
approved and
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that.
I didn't listen to the end of it.
But a minute ago, he's talking about how people need to be able to get their prescription drugs that they need by forcing everyone else to buy insurance or penalizing them.
Right.
So try to be consistent.
6 years ago, when Obamacare was being adopted, it's possible that reasonable minds could have differed on whether this was a good idea. But 6 years into it, we've seen the results. We remember Obamacare. A series of promises were made to us by President Obama. Number one, most infamously, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. President Obama said that 37 different times.
I bet they really did count that. 6 million people
across this country discovered that was
absolutely
not true when they had their plans canceled against their wishes.
Well, then he should have to say that he's sorry 6 million times.
Yeah.
Him and Hitler both.
Time he said it. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 million times on the chalkboard.
Obama is totally the Hitler of lying about health insurance.
Yeah.
Ever notice that?
Well said.
6 million victims. You can't argue with the logic there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jews. Sorry.
Sorry, black people.
Yeah, I don't know. This
Why
whole
black
thing.
people?
Because Obama's black. You can't call a black guy Hitler.
Oh, he's as white as he is black. Come on.
Trump president now.
Yeah, Andrea, that's all over with.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Don't you worry about it.
Great, we can say whatever we want
Trump
again.
president now. Everything's going to be taken care of.
All right,
We're
dude.
good.
Calm down. Jesus Christ. Frothing at the mouth, xenophobe.
If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Islam.
Again, millions discovered that wasn't true. And President Obama promised the American people the average family's premiums would drop $2,500. Not only wasn't that true, but the average family's premiums have risen $5,000. That's why people are unhappy with this disaster of a law, because it's driven up the cost of health care. It's reduced your choice. It's reduced your freedom. And this last election was a referendum on Obamacare, and the American people quite rightly decided this plan isn't working.
All right. Well, whatever.
Hold the phone. Wait.
What?
Trump didn't win the popular vote, so that argument really isn't fair.
Andrea, that's un-American.
Alex Jones said he did.
Is that
Yeah,
is that where we are?
Well,
don't you know that 7,000 I mean, wait, hold on. Don't you know that 700 million illegal immigrants voted in this last election?
100 million illegal votes were
Yeah.
cast.
Yowza.
Yeah. But no,
I like the number did keep rising for a while.
No,
Yeah.
But the top election fraud expert, Debbie.
Mhm.
Oh,
last
Debbie,
name,
yeah.
That is.
Okay, keep it going.
I'll remember her last name, but she said that she tried to steal 6 states, but stole 5. and Trump still won in a landslide because of the way the machines can flip things. There's a ton of videos out of people like they're filming, like they're trying to vote for Trump and it's switching to Hillary. There's stuff out.
You're not allowed to film in the election.
Oh,
I mean, the voter box.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
You're not? Why not?
Guess
I don't know.
what?
That was a fucking thing they made a big deal about. I would guess because they don't want people to videos of the machines fucking up to go viral.
Well, what would you think? What do you think would happen if I posted on Facebook like I have a picture of mine.
Oh my
I took a picture.
god.
I was
Oh.
like, I didn't even trust the
What
paper
the fuck
ballot.
is the purpose of that rule, though? I don't really,
It is-
what's the practical
yeah,
thing
no.
besides?
You can't prove that there was election fraud.
Yeah, well,
That's crazy.
I knew that.
Seems like the only thing.
Yeah, they made that a big issue at one point, and I had a feeling that it was it was kind of purposeful that they were doing this because it was like some movie star or somebody, I don't remember who, a pop star or something, posted their picture of themselves voting, and they're like, "Oh, this is technically illegal. Everyone needs to know, I don't think they should get in trouble in this case, but, just for the average person out there, you need to know this is absolutely illegal, like there was tons of that going around.
So weird.
And because the media.
Why? Because you might cheat and have somebody tell you who to vote while you're in there?
I have no idea what they're how they even justify that. Yeah.
Right. It makes no sense, and it seems like we could easily make a law to change that. Or is it even a law? I don't know. But I just distrust the media so much that's why I took a picture.
Why?
I'm like, because they're fake. You're fake news. No, you're fake news.
Oh, you know what? This whole debate is fake news. It's on CNN.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to say. Is this whole thing seems like a written script, like some fucking.
Dude, this probably never even
it's
happened.
not even fucking news.
Dude,
it's just
yeah.
It never
noise to
happened.
piss people
I
off.
swear to
just
God, this is
CGI.
probably they were getting their makeup on before, and it's all actors in the fucking crowd. I only heard one of the citizen questions, but it just the whole thing seems so typical
yeah.
and
It's
fucking
boring. You're right. Maybe we should wrap it up on this, actually. I think we kind of said everything that you could say from our perspective.
Well, I liked Ted's answer to the first lady's question.
Do you know where that's at, Andrea?
Do you have that, Andrea?
I think I got it.
It's the first, after the first set
The
of.
first person from the crowd that
She's
talks.
fighting breast
First
cancer and
person.
currently
Yeah.
undergoing radiation treatment.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Senator Cruz, if Obamacare is repealed, is there anything you can do to ensure that provisions are in place so that half of my paycheck won't be spent on health care? I didn't ask for cancer.
Yeah.
I never smoked. I never drank a lot. I've lived a pretty
It's funny that she says that. Half your paycheck. Well, in a lot of countries where they do have totally socialized healthcare systems and stuff, these are places where they're paying 40, 45, 50% in taxes. So, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
More.
Yeah. Isn't that true, Andrea? Haven't we talked about that?
Yeah, we have, but they also make more on average
Okay. Is that true?
individually. So
Well,
it kind of evens
don't
out, I
say
think.
that because that kind of fucks up what
Oh,
I was
sorry.
doing.
Yeah, whatever you say.
No, there are
You're
some really Finland's the tax is ridiculously high.
Yeah, it is ridiculously high, but
I'm gonna
also
look it
their
up real
minimum
quick.
wage is ridiculously high, and their benefits are
No,
ridiculously
yeah.
high.
Yeah, and
so.
where's the uproar? Where
Yeah.
are all of them being all pissed off about it?
The Finnish guy stayed.
How do you know they're not?
Well, I was in Finland for a month, and I stayed at this guy's farm, and he was saying that if you don't have a job, you can actually get more money from the government than if you just had a job. The minimum wage is so low, so people just intentionally don't work, and that's how most people. And then
That's
and now
not
I'm s-
sustainable.
Dude, and now I'm seeing it. Now I'm seeing it in the news. I saw it on the Drudge Report the other day. But they were saying Finland's the first country to they're going to give everyone a guaranteed income. But they were already doing that. So I don't know.
Maybe they're just calling it something else now.
Yeah, they changed the name of it, and they're still. But they were
Plus,
doing that already.
You really can't.
And in that context.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say you really can't compare a lot of other countries that are like that to here. We have a very uniquely, sovereignty oriented anti-subservient, self-reliance based culture. I think.
Fuck yeah.
From what I can tell, don't we? I mean, it's part of American culture and philosophy and the way that our society was built to be like we don't rely on government to solve our problems. You know what I mean? And I feel like that might be a really unique thing, partly due to our newness. But in other cultures, maybe people are just more naturally subservient and they don't really think the same way and they aren't offended by the same things in government as we are.
All right, here's an idea. Maybe some of these like rich fucking whiny liberals,
Finnish slobs.
No. I'm talking about Americans that love Bernie Sanders, that could totally afford to go to post-Soviet countries and just go talk to people. And dude, you come back. I came back loving America so much more than I ever before, because I went twice. I went to like Western Europe, and they're all bought into it. If you go to like all the nice places, I went to everywhere where they're kind of
they're bought into what?
Well, bought into like the EU and the like everything, and like they love the government and they trust it. And then, but like post-Soviet places like Estonia, you talk to some kids where their parents teach them like this is the worst thing ever. So it's like and some of the people I met were even old enough to remember it, and they know how bad it was. Just do some history research, because it's out there. It's not good. This is never good. You don't give the government all the power, and that's all Bernie Sanders is saying is give the government the power. And it's really annoying me. But I love Ted's answer to this lady's question.
All right, let's hear it.
Healthy lifestyle. I fear that if I don't have Obamacare, if I'm not covered, then my pre-existing condition of breast cancer and remaining treatments will make it difficult for me to afford insurance. Senator Cruz, what can you do to protect people like me who are alive because of Obamacare?
Are you?
Neil, thank you for asking that question. And how long have you been diagnosed with breast cancer?
Well, maybe
I was diagnosed on April 25th, 2016.
Wow. Well, you're doing great. Our prayers are with you. I tell you, my mom had breast cancer.
Rick.
This is his answer.
My mom was diagnosed in 2000. I sat by her hospital bed as she went through 2 surgeries, and it's a horrible disease. But 16 years later,
no shit.
Thank God she is a survivor. And I will tell
you,
our medical innovation has been incredible dealing with breast cancer.
Because you have tons of money. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Damn it!
Neither one of them can.
Question.
Neither one of them can answer a question for shit. By the way,
They never knew people like her. They don't even know what it's like to. It's so. Both these people arguing this don't know how to answer these questions.
Yeah,
they've never lived this life. They don't get it.
This is the person that the Healthcare Act worked for, but I think, like a simple pre-existing conditions bill would have worked just as well for this lady. It sounds like, because basically she was able to buy insurance, whereas she wasn't previously, right? That's pretty much the idea here.
But if she was really sick, didn't we have Medicaid? Like, wouldn't she have gotten some kind of?
There is stuff.
That's what I always say to people is like, why do we need that when we were already doing that before? Yeah. Why are you forcing every person in the country to pay something?
We've had people, and
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we've had people in our family too that had very little money and exhausted all of it, and were able to get their hospital bills paid for through those programs. I mean, I've seen it happen, so whatever. And that was before Obamacare. But
Andrew, did we skip over when Ted Cruz pointed out that the year before Obamacare, they made like a third or a fourth of.
We did skip over that.
Well, we don't have to play it. I know what it was. It was that in 2000.
6 million.
No, it was 2015 that top 10 insurance companies in the country profited $8 billion.
No,
sorry, and
you're wrong.
That's what it was, right?
No, in 2008 they made $8 billion. In 2016, the same 10 undisclosed companies made $15 billion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was 1 year. Okay.
No, it was before Obamacare and 6 years into it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, there you go.
So, Yeah, and he makes the point also that the government provides less coverage for more money, and insurance companies are still making like all of the money under the so-called government program anyway. So like that's not a valid argument.
All the money under the sun.
All of it.
Yeah.
But then if you want to flip your video, did we listen to all of the response that you were interested in hearing, or do you want to keep going with that?
No,
I don't
know. I felt like he just was basically saying, yeah, like, because our prayers are with you.
Yeah.
My family's good. We're rich as fuck.
Yeah, we're good.
So you ought to be all right.
Maybe you're not praying enough. I think that's what he was saying.
What a dick. You know what? This debate honestly is for the birds.
Oh, look at all those birds.
Oh, whoa.
What were you gonna say,
I'm
Andrea?
gonna take a picture.
Wait, get that one.
Nice.
All right, before we wrap this up completely, Vinny, if you flip your video to 2011, 20 minutes, 11 seconds.
But this debate happened this year. I wish you didn't explain that you meant seconds already.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
This is just, I want to listen to, this is the first time I've ever heard a politician talk about how ridiculous it is to get prescriptions and get things approved for people to use. And Ted Cruz plugs a bill called Right to Try, which is legislation that he wants to put through that gives people with life-threatening diseases the right to try experimental drugs before they've been approved by the FDA. Because the FDA is fucking crazy and takes forever.
Why don't we let old Teddy explain it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm not going to support that. I know that.
Well, actually, what I still will say, Bernie, is I would love.
Bernie Sanders has a total lizard mouth too. I never really noticed that before. He just like flicked his tongue like a lizard at the end of that.
Yeah.
For us to work together, going after Big Pharma, and in particular taking on the FDA. Right now, it takes $2 billion to approve a new drug. Now, I've introduced legislation to reform the FDA process so that new health care, so that we can be curing diseases and we can be helping people. I would encourage you to join me in that.
Oh, was that Bernie Sanders? I thought one of you said wait. Sorry.
No, that was...
Okay. Is that it, or do you want to hear more?
No, it's fine. I mean, I kind of explained the right to try thing, which I think is a great idea.
I want to hear Bernie Sanders talk for one more second.
Join me in Right to Try so that if someone has a terminal disease, the government won't tell them, you can't try this life-saving medicine because we forbid it.
Yeah, I do kind of like that idea. That's true. You know,
he also says that...
He does make a lot of libertarian arguments, which I like.
Yeah.
He does also say for drugs that are already approved in other major countries, like in Europe or in Canada, that the FDA should have a 30-day process for getting it approved in the United States, and there's no reason it should take 9 months.
Yeah, but also fuck the FDA. They're so corrupt and they approve so much poison and garbage that who fucking gives a shit? Like how about you talk about just getting rid of them
without their approval, though? Yeah,
I know, but they should be all.
You gotta make a song about it.
Should be all in prison.
Well, and I think part of it too is making steps. It's a lot easier to say let's reduce their role before we say let's get rid of them entirely, because obviously we don't need them. Look how small their role is.
David Box, were you mad that I stole your birds joke?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I encouraged the birds joke.
I think everybody should do it once in a while.
It would have been, yeah.
All right, here, let's see what old Grandpa President has to say. Yeah, it's yours. It has your vibe. It's creepy, and you don't know why it's funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because saying that it's yours is for the birds.
Gentlemen, we could do this all night. We're going to get to pharma.
I'm willing to look at it if you're willing to look at taking on pharma, which is the greediest of many greedy.
Oh, in the end, really, how is it that these are the two people that are on national television discussing this? Oh, is this the best that we can do? Honestly,
yeah.
I feel like if two members of our show actually sat and crammed and researched for a couple days and had a discussion about this, it would be way more in depth and make a hell of a lot more sense than this fucking thing.
Yeah, but then it would also go over everybody's heads. You can't do that.
Oh,
People
I
don't
know.
care
We're
enough.
just so smart. We're
No,
not.
but
We're
people
not
don't
too
care
smart
enough.
to.
That's not what I mean.
Andrea, we're not too smart for national television. Now stop pigeonholing
what the
us
fuck I'm
to
saying.
YouTube. That is what you're saying. You're afraid of success.
I'm so afraid of success that I'm afraid of. No, wait.
Andrea,
I'm so
can't
afraid
you
of failure
tell-
that I'm afraid of
Can't
success.
you see that you're just sabotaging yourself? You know, every time you get close to happiness, it's like you
I
put
throw it away.
Yeah, you step on your own landmines. You know, it's
I
it's
booby
crazy.
trap myself.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, you sabotage
Like I followed
yourself.
my own tripwire.
Yeah, I couldn't think of another way to say it. It's like,
Like
well, I gotta
the
say something.
can of paint I swung from a rope hit me in my own face.
Sure. Yeah. Or the doorknob that you heated up burned your own hand.
Touched it with my own hand.
All kinds of
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
They should have stuck with the sticky bandits idea, those two. You know? Remember that?
It's the wet bandits.
No, they were the sticky bandits. He had glue, and he was taking people's change out of their buckets, homeless people. He had glue on
Yeah.
like a glove. Like, the sticky bandits.
Wait, was that Lost in New York?
I
'Cause
don't
in the first
remember which
it's
one
the
that
wet
was.
bandits, because they're clogging the sinks and flooding their house.
The wet bandits?
The wet bandits.
That's a-
I'm so scared.
I don't remember that. It's the best idea they
Where
could
are the wet bandits? I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that's what it was.
A couple of non-believable criminal characters too. Like, oh yeah, these look like the couple of guys that'd be going around doing home invasions. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just was
Yeah.
like they just both look. That's when they never used to hire good criminals for movies back then. Like they'd have like gangsters be played by like theater actors. You know, that
Yeah.
it just never was believable. Like the Mexican gangbangers in Falling Down. You remember them? Like, hey Holmes, what's in the briefcase? You see that graffiti right there, Holmes? It means not welcome or whatever. It's like,
You know who was a terrible perpetrator of that and no one ever talks about it is Breaking Bad.
oh, dude, Breaking Bad was some
Yeah.
of the worst. The way that they portrayed like Wigger kids was totally wrong. It was.
Jesse
my
Pinkman
God, I
is
know.
like a non-human.
I am really surprised that I was even able to enjoy the show for as bad as Jesse Pinkman's character was.
Look, the show is besides that
And
part of
people
it,
love
it's very
people
good.
love
Yeah,
Jesse
I like
Pinkman
that
for
show.
some reason.
Yeah,
I don't. That's he's like the favorite for the fans.
Yeah,
I don't
dude.
get
it's weird. He's such a
No.
little bitch.
Hey, yo, why are you talking to me like that, bitch? Bitch. Nobody talks
I don't know,
like that. That's
I've
not.
never-
I've,
Have you been to New Mexico?
did you know that he was? Did you know? Yeah, we have actually. When we were kids, me and Andrea both did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
What did I?
But so he was supposed to be a juggalo, Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah.
That's what I
He's
read.
also supposed to die.
I wish he
Yeah.
would have.
They were gonna kill him off early, but
I
then
wish
they
he would
kept
have died
In
in
the
the first
first season,
episode.
yeah.
I wish he would have died in the first episode. And it's just been like, yeah, remember that fucking retard?
Dude,
Now we have a
They-
good show. Like,
yeah. I hated how they had to have someone to die, so they had his girlfriend die.
yeah,
Whoa!
that was-
Spoiler alert,
Sorry, yes.
dude. I hated that
You
bitch too.
haven't seen that show by now. Don't watch it.
No, she should have died. I was so
Yeah,
glad when
I was
she
like,
was gone.
whatever.
the dialogue was terrible with any Jesse Pinkman interaction with any of his friends or anything.
Yo,
They were just
Yeah.
it's like, yo,
yo, bitch.
what you need, boss? All right,
Yo,
listen.
skinny Pete.
Yeah. Dude. And the use of the word bitch was just fucking, it just was cringy. Just fucking everybody calling each other bitch and just like saying it weird. It's like,
I pay my rent, bitch.
yeah, it was always a weird cadence. Like there would be like a long pause and he'd be like, and like spit would fly out of his mouth. Like, bitch. And he'd be like fucking crying like a cunt always. Oh my God, I made $70 million and I had to kill a Mexican. Oh, you know how much I would love to do both of those things? You fucking asshole.
Just independently of each other.
Right, I don't care which is, either one would be good. No, I'm just kidding, y'all.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets! Oh!
Yeah, bitch!
So right there in a nutshell.
Yeah, dude.
Science, bitch. Yeah. Mr. White.
Yeah, dude.
Wolfhounds.
I was on the fence a couple of times about to be like, fuck this show. It's too much of this fucking kid that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And his fucking unbelievable friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was so annoying.
But there was, like I was saying, there was an era that was even worse where they, like, Hollywood hadn't really figured out what, like, inner city gangbangers or, like, Mexican gangbangers were like, and they would hire these really nerdy, like, theater people to play them.
Kids, yeah.
And it was just, and there was always, also in, like, the 80s and the 90s, there were a lot of, like, sort of Mad Max looking, like, white gangs for that I don't think were around in real life. There was, like, a lot of the, and they'd like, the gang in RoboCop.
Story.
No. Remember the gang? in
Jets?
In the first RoboCop? And it's like middle-aged bald guys in like cut off jeans and shit, and like it is so horrible, delivering their lines like really terribly, like I want you to shoot that motherfucker in the head, all dramatically, like
yeah.
That was
go get him.
That was a bad era for criminals in movies. It was very.
But I like the Warriors bad guy.
Warriors.
Come out and play.
Yeah.
He was kind of scary.
It was like, but that was totally just.
I think he was supposed to be gay, though.
Just a dramatic movie. It was.
I wish we didn't.
That was a movie about gay gangs.
I
right?
wish we didn't talk about. Or I wish we didn't just waste so much time, because have you guys seen the movie Falling Down?
No.
I would love to talk about Falling Down, because it's one of the people love it, and I used to love it, but I saw it again recently, and it's fucking terrible. It does not hold up. Yeah. I know why people like it, because it's just about a guy that loses his mind and starts like rampaging around, and
that sounds like my kind of thing.
He's kind of just pointing out all the annoying things that everybody's annoyed by in society, but he's just like going nuts and killing people and shit, but it's Michael Douglas, but it sounds good the way I'm describing it, but it's not even that good, trust me. It's very like the acting is awful, and the scenes like make no sense. Like there's a scene where I'm talking about where he's like sitting on a stoop, and these two Mexican gangbangers come up, and they're like, "It's your graffiti, it means not welcome, blah blah blah," and he's like, well, maybe if you wrote it in English, I could fucking understand it. And they're like, "Hey, Holmes," and they pull out like switchblades, like, "Oh," and he's like sitting there, and he's got a briefcase and a baseball bat next to him, right? So he gets up and he's like, "Listen, fellas, clearly there's been some sort of misunderstanding. Now I can tell this is a territory dispute, and clearly I've stumbled into your territory, and I, being an outsider, you're not comfortable with that. So I think we could just part ways here, and I'll be out of your neighborhood shortly." And they're like, and so he tries to walk. Picture this: his briefcase and his bat are behind him. This drives me fucking nuts about this movie. His briefcase and his bat are behind him on the stoop that he had been sitting on, and he goes, "So if you don't mind, I'll just be on my way." And he tries to walk forward through them, and they do the really cheesy like stop him with their shoulders, and they're like, "I don't know, I think he should pay a toll. What do you think?" Yeah, how about that briefcase? Like he was already trying to walk away without it. I don't know why. And
yeah.
And they're like, "How?" And he's like, and now at this point he goes, "No, you can't have my briefcase." I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. They could have just
didn't want it.
You were just leaving it. I don't know if it was bad editing or what. And they're like, "Well, we want the briefcase." He's like, "No, you can't have the briefcase." And then he goes back and he pulls the bat out from behind where it was, and he just starts beating the shit out of the Mexicans with the bat. And, they both are standing there with knives, and they don't fucking do anything. They just get the shit beat out of them. And then they're running away, and he throws the bat at them, and they still keep running away. And then he's like, "Clear a path, motherfuckers." Eventually he gets a big bag of guns, and nice. he really starts fucking shit up. But yeah, that whole thing made no fucking sense to me. I'm sorry.
So then after that they knew he was unarmed.
Exactly. He threw the bat at them, and they kept running away with their knives.
Because he was too scary.
Right. He was crazy. He was nuts.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to give up his briefcase with his work papers.
Is that all that was in there?
I assume so. He's just an office guy. His car broke down on the highway. first the air conditioning wasn't working, and then he tried to roll his window down, and the handle just broke off, and he's like, and it's in like L.A.
I had a car like that.
And it's hot as fuck, and so oh no, his car didn't break down. He just pulls it over on the side of the highway because it's like gridlock traffic. He's just like, fuck this, and just gets out and starts walking home. He has to walk through like the ghetto, and then he like meets, you know, he goes through the whole ghetto, and then he goes to like meet some white supremacist that he has to kill in a basement because the guy thinks that he thinks that Michael Douglas is like now a new white supremacist hero because he's like going around the ghetto fucking people up. And so then he kills that guy, I think. And because that's another scene that makes no sense. He's just like, no, you know, I'm not a Nazi. In fact, I'm going to leave your store. It's like this shop owner, and the guy's like, hey, fuck you, and starts like trying to kill him. So he has to kill that. It just made no, yeah, dude, the whole movie's like that. It just makes no fucking sense. He trashes the whole store because the soda's too expensive. He does all kinds of shit, dude. You know, whatever. You guys got to watch it.
All right. I guess I should.
Yeah, everybody should.
Falling down.
Yes. Yeah. Whatever. We're taking a break. Are we done?
All right, bye.
We're done with the healthcare debate?
Yeah, we're done.
I think we have breaking news when we come back.
What is it?
Breaking news. Jeff Sessions was confirmed as Attorney General. And he intends on going after a pedophile ring, apparently.
Who? Jeff Sessions?
Jeff Sessions.
Jeff Sessions is the Attorney General officially. The what was the vote?
This is according to what? InfoWars?
Yeah. 57 to...
excuse me. InfoWars is like a reliable news source, but you have to watch for the like sensationalism and a bit of spin. But usually they don't.
I know. Well,
they don't report shit that isn't true, though. You know.
Right.
I know. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that for people who are like, oh, well, if InfoWars said it, well, yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Way to point. Good point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it passed 52-47, so he's in, and I don't know. I'm about to look into that. So we're coming back to that.
I bet you think that's off the hook.
That's off the chain.
All right, we'll be back. OverdoseTalkShow.com. We're back. Man, the world is a crazy place. I tell you, I do so enjoy these conversations with my best pals that I have over Skype from my humble abode here in the rotten metropolis of New Orleans, and with them all the way up in Illinois. Wonderful to be here again. Absolutely, just mind-blowing, the communication abilities that we have in this technological era.
It truly is a blessing.
I mean, I feel like we're hanging out, you know? I mean,
yeah, it does.
It's not like we're just talking on the phone. It's different.
It is, yeah.
Much.
Because we're wearing headphones.
Is David Box gone?
Wait.
Yeah, he's taking the dog outside. I don't know if he intends on coming back or not, but
So we're back live? It is really cool that we're sitting here live. What about when we'll have virtual reality goggles and we can literally be hanging out? I'll be able to see what you're seeing. It'll look like you're in my room. They'll figure some shit out.
I'd like it if they had like Three Stooges like helmets, so that we could poke each other in the eyes and like smack each other on the head with shit, and there would be little mechanisms in the helmet, so that like little fingers inside your goggles. So if I properly do it in virtual reality, that you get poked in the eyes. That'd be awesome.
Right, real consequences in like video games and stuff.
And like I smack you on the head with a 2x4, and it's got a little fucking like cylinder that just smacks into your head and gives you brain damage.
Yeah, you just smack them and everyone's like, smack him.
Just cracked his skull.
Sorry.
they're on their way to that kind of technology though.
I hope so.
They have like pillows that like if you hug one, the other person can feel it. And they're like connected over the internet.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Can you strangle them?
Could you kill a person?
Yeah.
Remotely?
The Japanese people have all sorts of shit like that. They have one where you can kiss people from a distance.
The Japanese
like,
probably
make out
do
with them
have
and
like a
stuff.
strangling robot that strangles you while you masturbate. They're weird.
Yeah,
They'd be the
I mean,
first
I don't
ones
know why
to
they
have that.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it
Is that what we're talking about?
simultaneously boils a dog or something.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
Weird,
Yeah.
like crossover product.
Right.
Use it in the kitchen and the bedroom. So what else we got? Alex, we were about to go to some breaking news, weren't we?
Yeah, this is like...
Sorry. If you ever tried chocolate-covered goji berries, you'd realize why I couldn't talk at all right then. Sorry. Breaking news. They finally confirmed the attorney. They finally affirmed the attorney general, and it's Jeff Sessions, which a lot of people didn't want. Some people did. Something alluded to. He alluded to.
Talking to your mic.
Or Infowars alluded to. There might be going after a pedophile ring.
That I don't know if that means very much.
We have breaking news. Jeff Sessions has been confirmed as the Attorney General for the Trump administration. This is a day after the Senate flare-up over Pocahontas' criticism of his record that was quickly shot down. But here's also what the New York Times has to say. They're worried about his tweet over Nordstrom. 'Cause that's the big news today, is Trump tweeting over to Nordstrom saying he doesn't like their decision that they cut his daughter.
Yeah, they cut his daughter. I saw that. They cut his daughter's like clothing line or whatever.
And
perfume or something. Yeah. And he had his Sean Spicer out there addressing it. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, like how is this what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Right. So where's the thing about the pedophile ring?
Well, while he's looking for that, this comes right on behind the confirmation of Betsy Devos as the education secretary too, which seems to be the thing that most people are upset about right now. Now, Alex has said that he found a bill that allegedly proposes like destroying or dismantling the Department of Education, which seems weird that he would like choose someone that seems so controversial and work so hard to get her put through and then say, you know what, maybe we'll just like get rid of this whole thing that I'm trying to make her in charge of.
Well, that was my argument with someone near and dear to me that's a teacher who like
talking to your microphone.
Someone near and dear to me who's a teacher who says that Betsy DeVos can't possibly run the Department of Education because she's never been a teacher. So how does she know how public schools run? She doesn't know anything. And it's, well, how about we just change the whole fucking system? Because
what's the perfect aspect of how a public school runs?
Well, and this is the thing too. It's a weird conversation for people like us who know that the Department of Education is kind of like the main brainwashing, the central brainwashing tool that there is, and this is the training that people get to be subservient. And as I used to call it, just prison training. Like high school was a lot like prison. And it really so the Department of Education to me disbanded. See, people, they make the mistake of thinking that a federal oversight of education is synonymous with education itself. It's not. Right. The Department of Education goes away. That doesn't mean people stop going to school or stop learning. And not to mention, by the way, I would be exactly as intelligent as I am today if I had never attended a single day of public school in my life. And I really am always going to be bitter about how much time was wasted because I didn't start learning anything about life or the world until after I got out of that system. I started learning about real history. I started reading real literature. I started, studying real art. And you know what I mean? Like my public school education just did me absolutely fucking no good other than to. It
was successful in teaching you to read and do some math.
No, that was at home, dude. I learned to read at home before they even taught us in school. Yeah, so did you probably.
Yeah, I did.
I
did too. I didn't learn to read there.
All right, fine.
I learned. My dad was better at teaching me math than my fucking teachers.
Well, and honestly,
Vinny, I learned more math from you than I did from any of my teachers. You taught me how to do algebra and stuff.
And I taught you the tenets of sacred geometry and hermetic principles, young Andrea. But no, how often, honestly, and this is where people go, well, you need some people that know math. Yes, we need trade schools and more specified education and stuff like that. We don't need everyone to fucking go through calculus. You know what I mean? How often do you use math that you need higher than a fourth grade education for in everyday life?
No.
You know what I mean?
You know what? Yeah.
It's not very often, and really with the internet, if you need a formula, you can look it up very easily.
Totally.
If you want that, you know. So it just is it just is a joke the way that we still fucking do things. So yeah, I don't think I honestly, let's say that I dropped out of school at 10, I'd probably be about the same guy. Only I'd have probably gotten a lot smarter a lot younger, honestly, because I wouldn't have had to deprogram myself for so fucking long.
Right. Yeah. There's a period of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very good point. And those are like important absorptive years.
You're
Those
like
are,
Sean
years
Spicer.
where
Did you see that?
absorb stuff,
Did you see that video of Sean Spicer and all his like weird mispronunciations of words and shit?
No, but I can imagine it.
I'll pull that up in a minute.
Okay.
Anyway, those years where you're usually spent wasted in high school and then deprogramming are like the years where your brain is very spongy and also capable of understanding complex concepts. And then once you get into your 20s and you actually get to the real stuff, you're already too dumb to get a lot of it, you know?
Some people are, but me and Alex were talking about earlier how it seems like a lot of the people that we would call enlightened, I guess, to be fair, because we can't consider ourselves to be the end-all, be-all arbiter, judge of that, whatever, you know. But no, Andrea, sadly, we can't.
Not yet. You're not at that level.
That's the mistake that a lot of the truth movement makes. That's kind of hypocritical. But
you don't know everything.
People that we like, that agree with us about stuff that we consider to be enlightened, are usually like the people that were troublemakers and rejecting the system during school. You know, while they were in public school or mandated school or whatever you were in, if you were like doing acid and running around committing crimes and shit, it was probably because of some kind of, you know, it's an immature interpretation of an emotion that comes from someone trying to oppress you. And you were just like, I will just fucking reject everything you say, whether it makes sense or not. Fuck you. It's an instinct. It's like you're trying to break me down, and I don't like it.
And when you're young and you're hearing, like, you're being told to think a certain way, and then you hear about this whole fucking world out there, whether it be through, I don't know, your parents or some person or whatever.
Dude, sorry, I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but I just remember, I don't want to forget this. This fits perfectly. I have a fucking notebook from when I was like 17 that I have written in there a quote from the vice principal at my high school who had me in his office talking to me, and I was kind of just like logically disputing everything he ever said, and he finally kind of gave up and he goes, listen, and I have this written down, you just need to change your thinking to fit better with the system. That's what he told me.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross.
And I never wanted to forget that, apparently, so I wrote that down.
So crazy.
Good.
Yeah.
And you know what? This bill doesn't sound so bad. So it was proposed by Kentucky Representative Thomas Massey, and it's only 1 page long, the bill. And this he was quoted saying,
I like it already.
He was quoted saying this: unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. should not be in charge of our children's intellectual and moral development.
Agree.
States and local communities are best positioned to shape curricula that meet the needs of the students. That's it. Cuts off there.
Nice inflection. Yeah, I do. I do that all the time. I do that all the time too.
Sorry.
But
Sorry. No,
that's the worst when you think the sentence is going to go on further and you're like, oh wait, that's the end.
You know, I also startled him because the cat had jumped up and was eating off of his plate of potatoes from before. Really? Just wolfing them down.
We had a cat potato situation going on.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Getting a little crazy.
I've been there.
But I mean, based off that statement, based off the fact that the bill is 1 page, I like it.
Yeah, well, and I do like the idea better in almost every situation of, you know, of breaking things down so that the individual is a little bit closer to having influence over the situation, because, you know, federal government is just another step removed from the individual sovereign, you know, so the closer you can get to that, to having the most choices and the most freedom, the better, in my opinion. And so anything that breaks free from federal control is good. And I know that's kind of dogmatic, but it really is like that's just how I feel. I think it would be awesome if they were able to make different choices for textbooks, that we all didn't have textbooks that were approved by this fucking textbook committee in Texas that was all Southern Baptist fucking religious fundamentalists that approved all the textbooks and totally blind nationalism just throughout all of them and weird programming and shit. It would be nice to have other choices.
Why? What's weird is, so we have nephews who are like 10 and 8.
Who?
One of which we've talked about on the show before, on Dave's side. And one of which we've talked about on the show before, who was telling us that he knew about the Illuminati and he knew about like celebrities that were in the Illuminati. The 8-year-old was saying this kind of stuff.
Jay-Z, yo.
And I'm curious, when they read about like 9/11 in their textbooks, they're going to get, we were attacked by terrorists, Muslim terrorists who wanted to kill us because of our freedoms. And like, when is it going to be that like a semblance of the truth will come through?
Well, here's the thing, that when you remove the control from the federal level, now there is the possibility of local politicians who are a lot more likely to be awake to those concepts, possibly have in their area being able to get that information into the hands of kids. Now, a lot of people would disagree with that, people that think that the mainstream story is true, but there's politicians out there that don't. And I don't know how many of them speak up anymore, but it's, you know what I mean? So at least there's the possibility that locally through elections, you could maybe get real history books, instead of the history books that we had, instead of the history books that we had, that every president due to the conditions of the time and popular beliefs, this guy was a terrible genocidal maniac racist. But that's okay. It's still America, and he's still a hero. And
same thing with Christopher Columbus. When are we going to get the fucking real story about Christopher Columbus in history books? Why is that a thing that could possibly still be taught?
Right. And how does it?
And they update the history. They update the history books every year.
Yeah, people aren't using history books from the 60s. It's not.
Well, dude, when I was a kid, a lot of our textbooks were from the 70s still.
Yeah.
No, well, nowadays they revise them every year, but it's probably just to change history a little bit more every single year.
Yeah.
Dude,
until it's normalized.
When I was in sorry, go ahead.
You were saying, the truth could get out there. I mean, why can't we go back to just having a bunch of states that, they all kind of think differently, and if you want to live there, you go move there, and if you
it's a closer situation to being actually represented. It's more possible,
right? And then ultimately get down to like the community, communities that all because
dude, I really gotta just put this out there. When I was a kid, this is how ridiculous shit was. I remember looking at the copyrights in my textbooks, and literally a lot of them were from the 70s when I was in grade school in the 90s, and and we'd have these textbooks, and they were hilarious because everybody had like really tight jeans and long sleeve collar shirts and stuff, and the stupid fucking big wavy 70s haircuts and everything, and the girls and the guys all kind of looked the same. And it was like this very strange. It was, and there was never any addressing that. The teachers, I wish they would have been like, "Look, I know this shit looks ridiculous to you, all in your in your fucking MC Hammer pants and huge shirts and spiked hair,
your pullover starter jackets."
Yeah, your starter jackets and your Reebok light up shoes and everything. So they should have addressed that. Whatever. We had just horribly outdated education in almost every possible way, and very few good teachers, really, looking back.
Well, and do you think that like a 10 years old is too young to be like, hey, that stuff you're learning really isn't?
Oh, no, that's the other thing I was going to say is how does it harm kids to tell them the truth about something like Christopher Columbus? Because I've had this fucking retarded conversation with people where they go, no, kids need heroes. So
there are plenty of fucking real heroes.
I know, and it's like when Italians stick up for Christopher Columbus. You have better Italians. Get the fuck out of here. You don't need to stick up for the maniac. You know what I'm saying? The world's most successful mercenary. You don't need to fucking do that. And people don't understand. Well, the kids need heroes. You can't tell them. Do you know how confused they would be? They'd be confused because you already lied to them. That's the only reason they'd be confused.
That's the confusing part.
How come you don't fucking talk about Hitler in a more positive light? Kids do need heroes, don't they? Come on now. What are you going to fucking tell them the truth about Hitler too? Do you see what I'm saying?
And then you'll tell them the truth about the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny.
Dude, honest, if you're going to, unless you're going to tell your kid that they're going to live forever, you tell your kids about death, you can tell them about Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids can grasp death. I mean, I didn't really start worrying about death till I was like 8. And then you get over it.
I don't know when that became a real concept for
honestly,
me. But...
I just threw that out there. I don't even know. But I remember, being scared. But then you get over it. It's whatever.
Oh, you do?
There's plenty of things to learn. I guess maybe some people don't.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really does. I think you go in periods where you're good at distracting yourself from it.
Well, maybe it's maybe that was the first time I got to actually depressed that I'm remembering, because I was really thinking about when you contemplate your own mortality, for the first time. I don't know. I remember it.
Okay.
I wonder if the internet will pressure schools into updating their stuff a little more accurately, because I remember when I was starting to get interested. I must have been in middle school. Maybe I was 12 or 13, I'll say. And I remember getting interested in the real history of stuff. And one of my friends had a book, and it was they were the only person who had the book. And it was the real story of how America came to be, and the real things that Christopher Columbus did, and the real story about the Civil War, and the real story behind Abe Lincoln, and all the stuff that I would never have been able to find otherwise.
Was it Lies My Teacher Told Me?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's what I read that when I was about 18, and or possibly a year or two older. I think I read it when it first came out, whenever that was. So, whatever. I remember reading that and just going, God damn it, I'm pissed about my fucking education.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. And thinking
how
why
did they get away with this?
Yeah, why is this structured in this way? Why do they need to be lying to us so much? And that was it when it first clicked in my brain. Oh, I might not possibly be a blind nationalist if I knew all this stuff.
Dude, people do not like hearing that Abe Lincoln didn't free the slaves. They don't like that.
What do you mean? I don't even remember that part.
Well, I just mean
Explain that.
I should say he didn't
Want
his
to?
whole purpose was not to free the slaves. That was a byproduct of a different political move he was making.
Well, that wasn't the reason for the Civil War.
Right, exactly.
It just happened to
I
happen.
think it's
that's just
people don't like to talk about it.
And it was a political move. It wasn't because he loved black people. It was because he wanted them to like him.
I think it's also it's just like now where to achieve any nefarious cause politically, they'll use an exploited, oppressed group to tug on your heartstrings to go, don't we have to do this? Don't you like them? Okay, yeah, fine.
This is our only choice.
Yeah, we like them. We'd even like it if you help them. But do you have to take control of the entire opium industry, the zinc, the magnesium, the oil? You know what I mean? Do you have to be there to do all of that corruptly as well? Or I'd be fine if you really want to fucking help people. Fine. But that's not what it's about, Sorry.
I don't know. It's weird.
Same
it's
shit.
weird that they taught that you grow up thinking the reason for the Civil War was to end slavery, but it's they teach you that so there's always this race war mentality.
Well, and also so that you think it, and to this day, they want you to have the South and Southerners have a certain connotation in your mind, and they breed that in school too. Right. And when you're a Northerner, if you don't travel the South, you kind of think of it as this crazy place where everybody's racist and, they're waving Confederate flags and they wanted slaves and oh my God. When, the reality is, a very, very small percentage of people owned slaves. Of course, the very wealthy, you know what I mean? Just like it always is. There was a few very wealthy people and they weren't the fucking people fighting in the war. Trust me. Many of whom, many Southerners opposed slavery, just like now they oppose illegal immigration for the same fucking reasons, because they wanted jobs. Hey, I could be working on that plantation, making a good living, but you guys are doing this,
Well, like you said, people don't talk about how many people own slaves. I think it was 1.4% at the height of slavery.
Were slave owners 1.4%?
Yeah, slave owners. There were 1.4% of the population, I think, but I'm going to confirm that. But anyways, it was really low.
Right.
And so it was basically...
like I said, those weren't the people fighting in the war, trust me.
Yeah, so
and their sons and their nephews were not fighting in the war.
The people that own slaves are the same people that are billionaires today. It's just... It's the same thing. And
hey, we do that once in a while.
It's like... Dude, there were black slave owners. So with such a low amount of slaves and black slave owners, what are you concerned about? And there's still slavery in some African countries.
Yeah.
And they have financial slavery in India. It's just
and the prison slavery in this country.
And the prison slavery in this country. Yeah. Hi again, David Box.
Hey, hi. Sorry.
No, but it's part of this.
Outside taking pictures of birds.
It's part of this brainwashing tactic in this country to make it seem like slavery is just a thing that white Southerners did to black people.
Right.
And we know that it's a lot more complicated than that, obviously. And we also know that most Southerners weren't and never would have been in on it. And, it's this idea that the North is righteous and they came in and they freed the slaves. Well, they attacked a sovereign nation is what they did and destroyed the infrastructure to the point that it's still hasn't recovered today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
this is most people, when you talk about the quote unquote real history of this country, most people are willing to admit Christopher Columbus really sucked. There was something weird about the JFK assassination, but people will not admit that Abe Lincoln was just a fucking politician and that people ignore.
Who imprisoned journalists who spoke out about him and all kinds of shit, dude. It goes on.
I get exposed to this a lot. I have a Sic Semper Tyrannis tattoo in a place where people can see it. It's on my arm. So I get a lot of people at work who know that's what John Wilkes Booth said when he killed Abe Lincoln. And none of them ever want to entertain the idea that maybe that was an idea to identify with. Not killing the president, that's not what I mean, but the death to tyrants thing and the ways in which Abe Lincoln was a tyrant and the ways in which he was exploitative and
Yeah,
sure.
And just to reiterate this this slavery thing, this is, if you just Google what percent of people own slaves at the peak of black slavery in the South, 6% of Southern whites owned slaves. So if you include the North, that was 1.4% of the population, which I said earlier.
Okay.
And an estimated 3,000 blacks owned a total of 20,000 black slaves.
Damn.
Yeah, but do you think I always thought
So,
I always thought a lot of them might be okay, if you're a free black person who made some money and got successful, maybe you would buy slaves just to so they didn't go to a white place and you could be okay, dude, I got you, you're cool, you can stay here. You know what I mean? Some of them must have been doing that, I feel like. Don't you think?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Still owning a slave, isn't it?
No, yeah, but not. But look, what if you were? Hold on. What if you were?
And I'll pay you. It wouldn't be a slave anymore.
Yeah, but hold on. What if you were black and you were rich at that time and you were I could go to the auction and save a certain number of these guys and get them to my fucking place and treat them well. You know what I mean? And then maybe there's probably, dude, I would guarantee you there's plenty of stories where they were buying slaves and freeing them. I'm sure that was happening. It had to have been, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Yeah. And I'm sure white people were doing that too somewhere. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Maybe
there was a little something called the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, and I'm just saying there is a possibility in my mind that the statistics on black slave owners could be slightly skewed. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
all right, fair enough. Yeah.
That was from Vice, so whatever.
Okay. Yeah, but no, going back to the idea. I know Andrea has a list somewhere of companies that to this day are in existence and doing very well, and their original profit surge was through free labor, through slavery. And
dozens of them. The one I remember the best is DuPont, which got their beginning using slaves to mine saltpeter out of caves, and then they sold it to the American government to be used for gunpowder.
Yeah, but this idea that the South did it, a lot of these are companies owned by Northerners and shit like this. It was
totally, but I never knew about that until I traveled to the South and went on a tour in that cave and learned. We didn't learn anything about like slave history. Nothing.
America wouldn't be shit without slavery. That's why we have Black History Month, because. Yeah,
that's how we made it up to them.
But we made a ton of money with a little bit of people.
You think we're even now, Andrea?
Yeah, isn't that what that was about?
I don't know.
And they have Martin Luther King Day, and that's in January, so they have a whole month and a day.
I can't speak as a black man, but I'd rather live in America today than Africa today. I'd rather have.
Oh boy, that's a dicey argument. Yeah, I mean,
it's a weird argument.
What about Liberia? Really?
We have a better country for civil rights than any of those places.
Yeah, no, that is a weirdly fucking.
It's weird.
So awkward, isn't it? And when I've heard people say that, and I'm like, oh boy, I don't think I can argue with that, but it's so cold. Like it's such.
You're welcome for enslaving your ancestors.
Right, yeah, I know. It's fucked
when
up.
we had slaves, every single country that existed had slaves, as far as we know, and we were the third country to end slavery. So. Really, we're not that bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, but what? How much of the state of Africa are we to blame for? You know?
Not much.
Not much?
Well, I mean, I think Britain is...
It's about resources and money,
I understand
right?
that, but I think Britain has the longer and more expansive history of corrupting and dominating African civilization. Don't they? I mean...
but like white people, right?
Well, we set up Liberia.
Which is doing great, as we have updated recently.
A thriving nation.
With a truly rich, self-contained culture.
Right. Yeah,
less than 10% of slaves came to North America.
Okay, yeah, no, we understand. I mean, there is a weird thing here.
Black slave, African slaves.
Right. There is a weird thing here where it acts like, you know, I don't know. Of course, the whole thing was fucking horrible, you know, and inhumane and unimaginable.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No.
But there.
That's why we're not on a.
There is a guilt. There is a
America
guilt tactic.
Hitler of slavery.
Right. There is a guilt tactic though that is almost disproportionate. Like what Alex said was like, in some ways, we're one of the most progressive countries on the planet. You know,
America is the Hitler of slavery.
That's how they do it.
Stupid. We're not on. Yeah, but we're not on a talk show talking about how we got to figure out how to get slaves again. Like we're pointing out how awesome.
Now hold on.
We're pointing out how awesome it is.
Correction, we weren't on a talk show figuring out how to get slaves again.
No, but
I see the next topic. Here we go.
Yeah, Trump is gonna make all.
He's going to do it for us.
He's
going to finally stand up for the white people.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we've been down and out.
I can't wait.
I think Alex told me I was a cis male earlier. Or was that you?
No, that was
Someone
me.
called me cis male.
I
yeah.
just say that. What it means.
I never heard of that word till 2016.
Okay.
That's the word of 2016.
Cis.
Listen, it doesn't mean anything. It just means you're normal, basically.
Microaggression was just added to the dictionary. And,
was it?
Yeah, another word too. What was it?
What's an example of microaggression?
So they're teaching in universities. A microaggression is something like smiling at a black person when you walk past them if you're white because you have white privilege, and that might be construed as like, I think I'm better than you.
Well, that's an extreme. That's an extreme example.
I've heard that example.
I know, but that's like one of the most extreme ones.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them. It is a really annoying conversation, but some of it is based in truth. Like maybe it would be something like if like a white person says to a black person like, "Oh, hey, can I feel your hair?" You know, or some shit like that. Like it's like some of it's based in shit that really is annoying and sort of racially ignorant. You know what I mean? But then they go really extreme with a lot of it too.
Right. Well, yeah, and also safe space. Sorry.
Safe space is why does that need to be its own word?
Safe,
That's two already words.
I know.
What's like
two words. It makes sense on its own.
Yeah.
But
you really have to define it
to the dictionary.
Okay, well.
Okay, wait. I've got some examples of microaggressions. A mixed race person somebody says, "What are you?"
What are
Meaning,
you?
like, what races are you? Yeah, what are you? Somebody said to a Japanese girl, "So what do you guys speak in Japan? Asian?" Okay, that's so
isn't that just ignorance?
Isn't that just don't we already have names for this? That's just a dumb shit thing to say. Like, what are you talking about?
Hey, you're retarded. Learn something about the world, bitch.
Yeah.
Here's
bitch.
You don't act like a normal black person, you know?
Yeah, stuff like that I think is a legitimate
How is that aggressive?
No.
Aggressive though.
I might not agree with the terminology, but I do agree that's a fucking annoying thing for somebody to say to someone. You know, like that's just ignorant. It really is. You know, you don't act like a normal. Yeah. That's like some 1940s farmer shit to say.
Right. But it's almost some like 1984 type shit to change the way we refer to that stuff, because it used to just be, dude, this guy
it used to just be rude. Yeah.
He's rude.
He's retarded.
Yeah, he's retarded.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't listen to that crazy idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, fuck, he's making microaggressions and I need a safe space. Why? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you need to learn. You need to learn how to just put that guy in his place properly when he says that to you.
Right. Like, learn some words that
Tell him
already
to go
exist.
Fuck himself. I hope you die. Who cares?
Yeah. Other microaggressions include assuming that someone speaks Spanish because they look like they speak Spanish. Assuming that somebody identifies as white because they look white.
Okay, look. When I'm in Chicago, there are millions of Mexicans, and we all grew up around a lot of Mexicans, and I've worked with a lot of Mexicans. I'm sorry, like I don't think it's that weird if in context to just go ask somebody, "Oh, do you speak Spanish?" Because there are a lot of people do. You know, like it's not a fucking weird question when there's a lot of Hispanic people around, is it?
But I have a Mexican friend and ex-Mexican Puerto Rican girlfriend. Both of them, their parents fluent in Spanish, have the accent. Neither of the kids, I knew more Spanish than both of them combined.
I know there are people like that, but it's not, dude. Enough.
That pisses me off, because if you had an opportunity to learn two languages just because they spoke it in the house, why wouldn't you? Just fucking.
I don't know, because you didn't feel like it. I don't want to do it either, but
don't teach it because they don't want to confuse them or think they'll get mixed up when they go to school.
Yeah, they want them to do okay at school and shit and fit in all right and whatever. But
all the schools that do better than us, because we're pretty low on the list of top educated societies, they all are tri.
Yeah, they teach the language when the brain is good at learning.
It's mandatory to learn 3 languages.
Yeah.
Their own country's language, English, because that's the universal language, and then they have to pick one.
I like how weird. I don't think I've ever heard somebody argue that their problem with immigrants is that they only learn English. That's like that's a new one for me. They should fucking speak Spanish too. What the fuck?
Do you know I get asked multiple times a week if I speak Spanish, and part of it is that I work in a restaurant that serves mostly Mexican food. But I am like, to me, I'm about as white as it can possibly. I'm the whitest person I know.
Yeah.
Except for maybe David Box.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, all right.
Yeah.
There's white Mexicans.
So it's like, I think it's kind of hypercritical, or it's kind of hypersensitive of Mexican people to be offended if someone asks if they speak Spanish.
That's what I'm saying. Why is that? I don't understand why that's weird.
By other white people.
Wait, actually, now that I think about it, I've been asked if I speak Spanish like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck is the problem?
It's an easy fucking language to learn, and there are neighbors to the south, and it's a huge country. And so
you know what? I don't speak any Spanish. I've worked with like 70% Spanish-speaking people where I work for over 3 years, and I don't speak any Spanish.
Vinny, you understand a little bit.
I understand a lot of it.
Yeah.
I just don't speak.
I can speak in like a casual conversation that's like very simple, you know. I can do that, but like I do it a lot better actually when I'm really drunk. That's the funny part. Is
yeah.
Like,
but Señor Mico, habla Espanol?
we're not gonna do Spanish right now. That's retarded. You know.
You can't do it.
I don't believe that either of you.
I don't
Spanish.
think you can have a conversation.
Prove it.
You didn't think that I knew that you just asked me if I speak Spanish? You did like the most common thing that you could ever that everyone knows. Huh?
Parlez-vous français?
Yeah, exactly. Right. ¿Dónde está el baño?
Hablo
Por favor. No, dude,
Lo
and plus I'm
siento,
out of practice. But when I like am doing it all the time, I can have simple conversations and hang out a little, you know. And then when you get drunk, for some reason you're really good at it. I don't know why.
I lived in Guatemala for a month, but nobody speaks English there. And dude, after like a week, I spoke Spanish, and I left speaking Spanish, and so it can come back to me really easily because I had to do it, or like I couldn't order. Like that was the deal. Like you go out, you have to order food and stuff. You have to. It's such a different. You learn it. So
shut up, Puto.
Weird.
Let's listen to some Sean Spicer audio.
I also climbed a volcano, motherfucker, a live one.
Stick it up your culo, eh?
I got hit by a 12-foot wave, so suck my dick.
Let's go to this Sean Spicer video that somebody put together all of like his mispronounced words, I guess, over the past few weeks, and some of them are pretty fucking hilarious. Why does the spacebar work half the time here? Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, good afternoon.
That's just the intro.
We've also otherwise violated
all the wise
their laws. The principal committee is judiciary toward their progress in lowering drug prices. We cast a historic deciding vote for Secretary of Education. Please
hold on, wait.
This was the first thing I noticed about him when he made his first address ever. He stumbled over like every other word.
Yeah, something's wrong with this guy.
Well, yeah, but he also, like, I've seen him like call out journalists like, no, just shut them down. Like you guys, you're the reason that the story is out here. Yeah, you're lying. You're fake news. You're the reason that the public believes that. So that's the answer to your question. I'm not going to go into it because you're fake news. And they're like, he's literally just not giving them any ammunition.
Yeah, and to me, I know a lot of people find that really scary, but I guess you would have to take the mainstream media seriously to find that scary, and I don't at all. Like, to me, there's no integrity possibly lost between the White House and the media. That's not a thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, who cares?
Two things I don't trust at all, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, right. All right.
Let's not trust them together.
Let's check out this one. This is a good one.
Secretary of Education.
As a education. How did you mess that up that bad?
Education, please.
Wait, I want to hear that one more time. Sorry.
Education, please contact the press office if you know anyone.
The press office.
Allies around the globe.
The globe.
Historic financial investment to ensure its full implementation. Yesterday.
Implementation. And this is called Sean Spicer's Alternative ABCs on YouTube, and whoever made this put like really good like captions of what he's saying, you know, and they spelled the words like they sound when he says them. It's pretty fucking funny.
Today, Judge George. We have our eyes on Cabal today for reaction to our Skype.
What the fuck was that? Cabal Quetta.
Introduction seats yesterday. The president.
Oh, that one's good. Lasterday instead of yesterday.
What's that? Lasterday?
He said Lasterday. Yeah, listen.
Introduction seats yesterday. The president issued a memorandum.
Isn't this good? The memorandum. There's one here. Memorandum.
The president issued a memorandum. Executive orders delivering some much needed.
Some much needed.
Executive order. President delivering.
Executive order. Oh, Plarm. Plarm is one of my favorites. Here, wait.
President delivering on his promise to Elaine Chao. Also, gratefully more than 60 to lead the Department of Transportation. The president has been honored to receive tremendous support for various options to address voter fraud. The president will depart from 55 or purchase for U.S. military. It is also a humanitarian imperative.
This guy clearly has a speech impediment.
Yeah, I can see him as a little kid in class just sweating as his turn to read out loud is approaching.
Do you remember those kids? Do you remember those kids that had to go to speech class in elementary school?
Yeah.
Like, because I think he was one of those kids.
I remember.
Doesn't mean he's stupid.
I remember the kids in grade school that when it was coming to their turn to read, I would be the one like, oh. Fuck, I can't do this.
Totally.
Like, dude, that was like so much of my grade school experience was like, and this is how school works out, whether it was music that I was actually interested in or all this other shit, you end up just basically going at the pace of the lowest common denominator in the class.
Yeah.
You know, and like with music especially, I never had a decent music education because I learned a lot of music at home and I was ahead of everything there, so they never fucking talk to me like ever. You know? It was just like, okay, you're good. We gotta work with these people.
Yeah.
This is a shitty thing about fucking school music programs. We got to spend all our time working on these people who are never going to play music in the real world. They're only going to do it here. So we better spend all our time working on them because they're never going to make it. Like, what?
Well, that's what I was talking about. This sounds mean, but it's kind of necessary.
Kids
they would
fucking suck.
They would took
music.
Kids that couldn't handle the class for most of the day, like 4 or 5 out of the 6 hours. They would take them into another room, and then they would just like bring them back sometimes to social, because they were disrupting 30 kids that could, when there were just 2 kids that were like couldn't understand stuff.
Dude, I remember kids in the school band that it was like, somebody just needs to tell them to fucking quit. Why are you encouraging them? I mean, it's obvious this is never going to develop. There were kids that were in there for fucking 6, 7, 8 years and couldn't play their fucking instrument, like, and clearly didn't want to be there, like their parents were making them, or they thought they had to because it looked good on a college application or some shit, you know? And it's just like, you're ruining it for the kids that really want to play. Our jazz band was the most pathetic fucking thing in the entire world when I was in high school. We used to go play with the fucking, because we had one of those band teachers that was like, we need high enrollment in the band and everyone and inclusiveness for all, and it doesn't matter how good you are, you can play just with, you know, everybody's equal and blah blah blah. That whole fucking thing.
You sound like a band supremacist.
I am, dude. It should be that way. People who can actually fucking do it. That should be who's playing music. People who are good at it. Sorry, you know.
Yeah, or people willing to work on their off time so that they can come be good at it.
At least people who are
good at it.
At least people who are passable, you know, like at least semi whatever. But you know, but our jazz band would go fucking, and compared to the other, so there was another school across town, and their program, their director was like, it was kind of like that. He didn't sugarcoat, and he was like kind of mean, and he only focused on the like best players in the school and formed them into smaller bands, and that was how they did it. You know, and we would go play a concert with them. Hold on. We would go play a concert with them once a year. And I remember literally crying on the way home because they fucking destroyed us. Like, our band was like twice the size of theirs and terrible. And their band just fucking kicked ass and made us look like little fucking kids. And it was terrible, dude. Fucking horrible. Like 16, and I'm on the way home just like sobbing, just like I'm so embarrassed.
That's funny. With 16, similar experience. In sports, my favorite coaches were the ones that didn't sugarcoat shit, and they focused on the kids that were actually trying and developing. And I remember fucking if we lost a really hard game, and because I fucking worked my ass off, I remember crying like no other. Like I never have when somebody died or anything. It's devastating when you're working really hard, and those kids should be rewarded and stuff like you're talking about.
Yeah,
so the point is we should kill the kids that aren't good at stuff.
And anyone who doesn't cry.
Be all inclusive. We shouldn't be all inclusive.
Yeah, if you're not crying because of
then it means you don't care.
Do shit.
It doesn't mean that we're both borderline insane with bad emotional problems. No.
You know what's weird though is it that no crying in baseball saying is actually kind of true.
I know you never see those guys cry.
Yeah, but you see football players cry all the time.
Bunch of
it's
fucking
weird.
faggots.
Very very weird.
They also slap each other's asses. So
right.
What is that?
So do baseball players.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. What does that say about them too?
Anyways, my commentary was more on like how we've been talking about the education system. That's like it's just not set up to specialize and to get people ahead. It's set up to slow everybody down who gets stuff already. You know.
Yeah.
It's like a race to the middle.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, because then you stop caring. And I was so deep, like my last couple years in the band program, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll show up and play this dumb shit. Great. And I just was fucking around and not caring, you know, because
dude, same with, I quit sports. I stopped caring. It fucking,
because it just wasn't challenging. It sucked.
Yeah, this everybody wins shit. It's just fucking stupid.
I was so underwhelmed and unchallenged through my whole school experience that now if I have to actually work at something to be good at it, I can't get myself to do it.
Is that why?
That's a big part of it, definitely. Because everything that happened while I was learning how to learn stuff came so easily to me. I don't know how to I can't study for a test. It doesn't work. I've never had to do that until the end of high school.
I like what you just said when you were learning how to learn stuff, which is high school age, school age in general.
Yeah.
You're being taught by this federally picked department. It's just one department, and they're telling the entire
obviously Alex skipped eloquence class. You see what happens?
What?
Nothing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I see.
Yes. Making fun of you.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, I have identified that as an adult. I have identified that is an obstacle for me, because if it doesn't come easily to me, I don't think it's worth doing.
Yeah, dude, I remember school, and I don't know, this probably sounds so despicable and fucking, self-serving and braggatory and braggadocious. Is that it? Yeah. For the whole conversation we've just been having for the past 20 minutes. But it's something about certain people, we had an easier time learning when we were younger, and you kind of just get ahead and stay ahead, and you're always just looking back what are the rest of you fucking retarded? What is going on here? You know, like I was saying about the kids that you're in 4th grade and they still can't read. You're just like,
oh my god,
dude,
I know
what is the fucking problem? You know,
I'm passing notes to my friends to make fun of you. Learn how to read.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know it if you read it.
Dude, that's all I did during class was just fucking try to laugh with my friends.
I don't think it necessarily means you're smarter. It kind of does actually.
No,
yeah,
because
I guess
the shit was so unchallenging. You check out.
I think that the problem is we're all just too smart for our own good. I used to hear that in school, actually, because I would have problems with certain stuff. I remember when I was young that my teachers would be like, no, you just need to do what I say because you're thinking too deeply into it. And I'm like,
right.
Well, I already thought of it though. You know, that's now how I think of it. And they're like, no, you're too smart for your own good. Just think about it the way I tell you and just do it like that. And I'd be like, dude, what the fuck does that mean? I never understood what that meant as a kid. What they meant is you're thinking too much to be successful. And I wish they would have said that, because then I would have understood. You're thinking about stuff too. You're just fucking questioning too much, and that has extended into my adult life. I've always thought I wish I was just a little bit more dumbly confident, and I'd probably be a lot more successful with stuff. I wish I just had that Kanye West thing of just I'm the shit. I don't give a fuck, and just you know. So, and I wish they would have said it like that, but they said, you're too smart for your own good. I had no idea what that was. I really wish they would have said, thinking makes you unsuccessful. That would have been a better lesson.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with changing language and manipulating it like that, like they always are, is it fucking confuses little kids. They're ruining education. Stop controlling it. Just let it be free. And that's what the internet is. That's why they want to control the internet. Mm-hmm. They've been making moves to do that. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
Never, ever will they fake moves.
I'm interested in what's going to happen in the homeschooling system, because as we know right now, homeschooling is pretty much controlled by a network of
by like
very
a giant
conservative
robot in the
individuals.
middle of Nebraska with tubes coming out of its head. And they're like fiber optics cables that just like go up into the light bulbs of every classroom in the country, and they have like radio waves that come out of them, and they control the chips and the fillings in the teachers' teeth that they got from the CIA, and it's just how they control everything.
You're not even listening.
Sorry.
I'm talking about homeschooling.
Okay.
But it's controlled by, I mean, the vast majority of homeschooling options, because there are curriculums you have to follow, and there are certain things your kids have to pass certain tests, or else you're not fulfilling your duties as a homeschooler. But most of those are controlled by very conservative groups, conservative family groups, very religious groups. There's Quiverful, which is the group that was preparing for the culture wars, which we kind of talked about, I think, in a past episode. So now that more liberal people are looking at Betsy DeVos and saying, you know what, I'm going to switch to homeschooling so I have better control, I wonder how that's going to affect the current conservative system of homeschooling and whether or not that'll be successful for them.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
taking them out of the public school and putting them into like a conservative religious style of homeschooling isn't necessarily an improvement.
No.
Oh, and
not
I
necessarily,
feel like,
but it might be again closer to the idea of personal choice, for them.
Yeah, totally.
And there's another, like, you can always look at the way we were taught as it was good bullshit detector training, because now we call bullshit on fucking anything that's stupid. So I don't know.
I feel like had I been taught a different type of critical thinking earlier on, I might be further along with.
Yeah. That's why I was saying I wish I would have dropped out of school when I was like 10 and just started learning about the real world.
Yeah.
Dude,
fucking,
yeah.
Just run away from home. Just,
you should just like get YouTube
and learn that the world actually works through a system of blowjobs to homeless people to stay alive.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, what a magical...
Well, that's what you would learn if you ran away at 10, yeah. So maybe a little later, whatever. But I swear to God, the amount that I know about history and whatever and geopolitical events and blah blah de blah, this all came after school, basically.
Yeah.
I don't, and anything that I did learn in school, I finally learned to go check up on because I didn't trust it anymore.
Yeah.
So you can't just go walking around reciting things unless it's something like, Waterloo in a trivia game. What's the answer? Okay, I know that from school, I guess. Fine.
Yeah, and math stays pretty consistent, but you never really need it.
Which president got stuck in a bathtub?
The fat one.
Do you remember?
All right.
Taft. It was Taft, and that's
Taft.
all.
I was going to say Tate, but I was like, I know that's not it.
As per my public school education, that is all I know about him. Remember how they would just do like one paragraph for each president that you would know a fact about them? Like, what good did that do us? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The guy probably did a lot of interesting shit for his time.
Yeah, stuck in a bathtub because he was a fatty.
That's all I know. Was Millard Fillmore. What the fuck did he do?
I have no idea. I don't know. I just know the name.
Oh, William Henry Harrison. Didn't he die right away? That's all I know about him.
He
How come
he didn't do very much.
In 2015, we ranked 17th in educational performance in the world, our country. But we have some of the best, like if you go to our universities.
Not as bad as I thought we would have done, by the way.
No, yeah, but if you go to our universities, don't we have some of the best math, science, technology? I know other places are making good technology too in Asia, but we have some of the best
Germany
in things that actually matter. We do well, but
we are on the forefront of that.
But the public education isn't.
No,
so it's not like we don't have the capabilities.
As we mentioned earlier, our innovation is driven by the free market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
which
I think
means that those universities are getting their money the way they want to.
Right, and probably I think people are probably coming here less for the quality of the education and more for the connections between universities and corporations that make it easier to get a job.
Yep.
I don't know how seriously I take that ranking because Finland ranks first, and Finnish people are taught like you have to go along with everything. Like they're all like everyone.
Yeah, they teach their kids
Dude.
like if somebody offers you candy, get in the fucking car. Go along with everything.
No, but like they all like I was I remember the neighbors came by when I was at the farm on Finland, and the guy had like a hookah pipe. Just hookah. He didn't smoke weed or anything. And the neighbors were coming over, so he had to hide it because he's like, "No, you don't understand. People here just they don't believe anything. Like even the stuff on the internet, they just don't believe it. They just believe what the government says. And if you are outcasted, well, also I think like if you get caught smoking marijuana there, you can't get anything. Like they give free money to people, but if you get caught doing this shit, you get cut off from all that. You get cut off from all these free programs.
So really strict drug laws there?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's weird. Me neither.
Well, yeah, they're very anti-pots, just generally like.
Or is it more of a societal thing that they just?
Yeah, it's a societal thing.
Where like the older generation is like, no, fuck that, that's drugs.
Yeah, they're like exactly. Like, they see it as they see weed as like heroin, like the older generation.
It's funny. Those people are starting to die off here. But I remember when I was a teenager, there was still a lot of like older parents and grandparents around that are like, but that's drugs. What do you mean your kids are doing that? You know, like that really irrational. There were like still people in our parents' generation that like moved to the city area from a farm or something, you know, and they're like, they just like became a librarian and like didn't, you know, they don't know shit.
Right.
Well, and people from other countries, I know a girl from Russia, and she told me that when she's been in this country for like 12 or 14 years or something, but she told me that she has never, ever, 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 ever tried marijuana ever and never will. Not because it's illegal, but because it's a drug and she doesn't know how her body will react to it. And she's too afraid.
Does she drink?
No, not really. I mean, here and there, but...
I mean,
I know a guy that drinks all the time and has never tried any other drug in his entire life.
Wow.
And it really pisses me off.
That's a weird one.
Because he drinks, like... all the time and comes into the bar and fucking sits there all night and gets obliterated, but he's never smoked weed. He's the guy I had on the show like 5 or 6 shows back or something. He was all wasted.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was getting pissed off at him because we bought Coke that night because he said he would do Coke. He's like, yeah, I've never done any drugs before, but I'd try a little cocaine. So we went and got some, and then we laid it out, and he fucking pussed out at the last second. Fucking really pissed me off.
Dick.
I was like, well, now I'm going to have to do all this fucking cocaine in front of you.
Yeah.
It goes bad once you open it.
Well, right, exactly. You can't save it. Everybody knows that.
Right.
It's no good
Goes
tomorrow.
bad.
Fucking,
Yeah.
Oh,
I knew...
and once you start using it, it starts going bad. So you have to use all of it.
Yeah.
Quickly.
I used to work with some girls who did not consume a single drop of alcohol until after they were 22 years old. They were twins. 22 they waited, and they had their first drinks at Disney World.
Dude, people that are... Dude, people like whose
that's like they were like raped.
That's weird.
Sorry.
That's
never mind.
Yeah, no, those are weird. Like maybe I don't know. Were
Super
they
weird,
religious?
right? I don't think so. No.
I don't know.
Those kind of people were like raped by their dad in a clown mask. You know, it's like says fucking something makes them that strange. It has to.
Yeah.
Be.
Societies where it's okay for 12-year-olds to have a beer, they don't have as bad of alcohol problems.
Oh, of course not, because they're not all just released at 18. And they know nothing. There were so many. Dude, I had so many fucking dumb, sheltered people that I knew that went to college and that I knew in high school that were from like fucking strict families that just went fucking off the rails completely. And like did meth and all kinds of shit. You're just like, what the fuck, dude? And me.
Well, and the other thing too.
Sorry, I was gonna say me. A certain amount of reasonable drug use was accepted in my home, and then when I went off on my own, I didn't get all fucking fucked up and crazy, except off LSD and sometimes coke. But okay.
Well,
yeah.
Dude, the beautiful thing about It's kind of cool. I've never done a drug that I haven't researched on the internet beforehand, the effects of it, what it did, what
It's
it
no
would
way
be
to
like.
live.
I know it's weird, but I've not. But there's no drug that I didn't know everything about pretty much.
I was actually
except how it really felt until I did it.
I was actually able to
I've
do that
always
too, even back in like 2000 and like 1999 when we were first getting into drugs, me and my friends. I remember there was a website. I'll never remember the name of it right now, but there was a website.
Erowid.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I remember it.
Erowid,
Erowid, yeah.
EROWID.org. It's a great website.
And we
Is it still there?
Very accurate, and they always update.
That was
Nice.
actually, I think that was how we decided we wanted to do mushrooms, because we're like just looking at all these drugs. We're like, man, this one sounds like it's the shit. Like we gotta get some of this shit, you know. And I remember eating them all together, like all 8 of us, 16 years old, just fucking splitting up this huge bag of mushrooms and just splitting them up equally and just eating them on hot dogs. And then, oh my God, we went to the local. We didn't know how crazy of a time it was going to be, so we went to like the local festival downtown in our small town where we all grew up, and just tripped like fucking lunatics, just like crazily running around the place, like drooling and falling down and fucking, going all nuts.
Yeah.
And I remember several people asking me afterwards, like, what's wrong with you and your friends at that fucking, what the fuck were you guys on? I remember our other sister, Katie, told me the next day that she saw me and like 3 or 4 of my friends just sitting on a curb staring across the street just into some trees or some shit, and she said that she came up and said, hey guys, and none of us responded, and she said it like 3 or 4 times, like, hey, and was like waving her hand and was just like, all right, whatever, and just left. Like, dude, I didn't know that shit at all. Like, you would have had to grab us by the shirt and shake us. So we're like that in public at 16 at a festival where everybody we've ever met in our entire lives is.
Yeah.
So no, I wonder sometimes how I got like such a bad reputation around our hometown.
Yeah.
It's probably shit like that.
I do remember being like wasted as soon as high school came around. I'd fucking get fucked up and go to all those public things that you'd go to as kids. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And everyone knew. It was fucking obvious.
Yeah, that was
not
weird.
that
You're so
type
bad
of
at
youth.
hiding it.
That was a
young.
weird part of being a kid. I remember being like 16 and like walking around drunk as fuck, in public,
Yep.
and smoking and all kinds of shit. I'm like, I'm looking back. I'm like, how did I do that? How was I getting away with that shit? Like,
yeah.
Like, how did I meet my friend at the park? We smoked a bowl and then walked around, or I walked around with a water bottle filled with
and when you're that young
vodka.
too, when you're that young, you're like walking down the street and like finding places to hide to get fucked up, and you don't realize how obvious you look to everyone else who's a few years older than you. They're like, oh, dude, we'll just go in the park in our like huge baggy jeans and black t-shirts and fucking stoner jewelry and our guitar case and long hair and shit. Like, we'll just go in the park and climb a tree. They'll never fucking know what we're doing.
Exactly. No.
Yeah.
If and when I have kids, and if drugs are not all legal, I'm gonna tell them, listen, idiots, you never do it in public. You do it at somebody's house, at somebody's private
but they should
property,
let my parents. My parents used to say shit like that, but then they wouldn't let us do it there. And it was
Same.
Yeah.
My parents would say that, but then my mom would always say she didn't want to get sued. If you have a party, I could get sued.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Just you could say you didn't know it was happening.
I had
that because I learned the word plausible deniability in high school law class, and that's a fucking plausible deniability is a good one.
Dude, if I have kids, I am totally being like the burnout fucking dad that like comes in and smokes all the weed. They're only gonna be like 14, and I'm gonna be like, dude, let's play video games and smoke weed. Because honestly, that's the age I would choose if I was to make weed legal and have an age. I would say 14 would be it.
Yeah.
Because I remember.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. Because I remember.
That's when I started
Here's
smoking
why,
weed.
and I'll tell you exactly why. Is that I remember smoking weed at the age of 14, and it's fucking awesome. And I would never want to deprive anyone of that experience, because you never get high like that again in your life, dude, ever.
No, you don't. It only happens when you're young. And you know what? I don't know. For some short period of time, I had myself convinced that it would have been better if I like smoked weed when I was like 18, because I thought I would have gotten more shit done.
No, fuck
but
that,
no,
dude.
it wouldn't. It wouldn't have, because I thought in high school they were fucking sending me to a psychiatrist telling me I had fucking ADHD. So here, you take the fucking Adderall.
Right.
You take the stimulants. Put you on the stimulants, and then suddenly I have an anxiety problem. Oh, maybe it's because I'm on fucking 120 milligrams of fucking Adderall a day.
Dude.
You idiots.
Yeah.
You fucking so they give. So first they say, well, we don't want to prescribe
More drugs for the anxiety.
We need more drugs, but we're not going to do the Xanax. So you got to try an antidepressant. Tried it for 2 days, threw all that shit out immediately.
Yeah.
Hated how SSRIs made me feel.
I know, dude.
So then
I had can I just interject for a second and say that I was also prescribed antidepressants in high school, and I took them for about 5 days. And I was like, just so creeped out. I was like, I don't feel right. I don't feel like myself.
I don't feel anything.
I had that weird feeling, when you like, there's like kind of a feeling in the back of your eyes and your cheeks where like, almost like when you laugh too much and you're like laughed out. Sort of like that tired feeling, you know what I mean? When you're like laughed out, or almost similar to when you like might be about to cry. It's almost the same feeling.
Right.
I would have that all day long, and I was like, "What
constant,
the fuck is this? I can't do this." And I stopped taking them.
It doesn't move. Yeah, emotions are supposed to fluctuate, and then so I threw that out. But still taking the Adderall, so they gave me Xanax, and fucking. I didn't even really take that shit. But then I remember I saved up all the pills because I stopped taking them because I started smoking weed. And weed helped with my anxiety. It helped with my focus.
Oh, yeah.
I was fucking up in school, and they put me on the pills. I was still fucking up in school. And honestly, it wasn't until I said, fuck the pills. I started smoking weed every day, drinking coffee in the morning. Then I started passing all my fucking classes. I was happy to go to school if I could smoke a blunt in the morning before, and I did it every fucking day. Selling weed, smoking weed. That's how I got through it, and otherwise I wouldn't have gotten through it.
I remember that was how when I started smoking weed every day. That was also how I broke my depression, because I was like depressed enough to be clinically diagnosed some medicine, and really what it was. Yep. And I remember telling the doctor at the time, because I kind of had an instinct for this shit, and I remember telling the doctor, or whoever it is that prescribes you, it's a psychiatrist, right?
Psychiatrist, yeah. Yes.
So I was telling them, look, yes, I agree that I'm sad, but I think that I have reasons, and I think that they're good reasons. So I think to just pretend to be happy would be strange. And I think I need to I need to get through what's making me sad, Yeah,
exactly.
I remember saying that, and basically I was sad about school. I hated fucking my life. I hated just the working 9 to 5 as a fucking 15-year-old. It sucked, and I've been doing it my entire life, and I don't know how anybody isn't angry about it, because it's fucking ridiculous, and I just couldn't take it, and I was really depressed. And then, yes, I discovered my beloved marijuana, and I really do sometimes. I'm like so cheesy. I just like look at a bag of weed, and I'm like, what would I do without you? I have no clue. Like this life is so full of ups and downs, and you are my constant.
Dude, you ever hugged a big bag of weed?
Who hasn't?
That feeling when you first see like your first big bag of weed and you open it up
Oh,
and you put your whole face in it,
and it like fills your whole hand. Yeah.
You smell it.
Oh,
no.
My
God.
I remember
Wait, hold on. Before we're completely gone from this subject, one time, a friend of mine, when I was in high school, I was probably 17 years old. A friend of mine died, and I went to his wake. And then I immediately afterwards I had a doctor's appointment, and it just so happened that they were less than a block away from each other.
How did he die?
He killed himself.
In high school?
Yeah.
How old was he?
Shit, sorry.
He was either 15 or 16.
Wow.
He was a year younger than me.
What happened? Why did he do that?
Actually, his mom found his weed, and he was afraid of the consequence.
What?
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here.
Nope.
There must
he
have
thought
been
that she was going to send him away.
There must have been something else.
Was he on antidepressants?
She, I don't think so, no, but she had threatened to,
sure?
like, kick him out and send him away before. And then she found his weed, and she was like, "We're gonna talk about this later." And then he killed himself.
But you know what though?
There had to be some abuse or something.
There had to be something else.
Totally.
Like, yeah.
Abuse, or maybe he was on some medication that you didn't know about.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, because
but that was the story that I was given.
I can't. Even though the fear of your parents usually. I remember when the fear of my parents was worse than the fear of the police.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that shifts.
They controlled your life.
Right.
You know?
It's fun.
It's hard to think of it that way now, but like.
Yeah, I remember when the cops were.
Situation like that can seem like the end of your life.
Whatever, fuck you, cop.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
my dad's
exactly.
won't let me do this shit.
I remember like being young enough that the cops were like an obstacle course like game. It was like, yeah, let's just fucking run from the cops. We just fucking make like an hour thing out of it, just running.
Yeah, one of the funnest nights of my life was when I snuck out with one of my friends and we went like across.
Everybody's got but Andrea was in the middle of something else.
But we ran away from the police and it was great. Right,
yeah, great. I know. I did the same thing.
So my doctor's office was like half a block away from where the wake was. They were both in the downtown area of our town. And so after the wake, I just walked over there and had my appointment. And she was like, "Dude, what the fuck is going on with you? You look terrible." And I was like, "Well, I was just at this wake for my friend who died." And like people in the town had heard about it. You know, they knew what was going on. She was like 2 doors down or whatever. And she said to me, she was like, "This must be really difficult for you. If you want me to prescribe you something to get you through this hard time, I'm able and willing to do that for you." And I remember having to be like, "Dude, I don't want that. No."
Yeah.
Drug dealer, drug pusher.
Yeah,
well, but a lot of them are like that. Like a lot of people that work in the medical field that I know, that's how they also use drugs. They just go, "Well, I'm a little sad. I'm gonna take this." You know, it's like they're just used to it. You know, like,
"Dude, I'm not this is going to pass eventually. Like I'm sad now, but like the people get through death all the time without."
And maybe there's something to be learned, and there is some reason to go through difficult emotions sometimes. That's what people are like.
Yes.
I was 17 years old.
Exactly. And your friend just killed himself, and they're like, "Well, we can correct that." That's creepy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No, you can't. Yeah, because you can't, dude.
Yeah. Oh, and like I was at the point with that doctor.
Now, by the way,
she might not have known I was under 18, but still.
You should never have a few drinks or smoke some weed, but I can give you a chemical pill that will alter your brain chemistry.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. That's the doctor's office where the head doctor and half owner of the office was arrested several years ago for possession of child pornography.
Right.
Oh, I played baseball with that kid. His dad. Well, that kid's dad. I played baseball with the kid's son.
Mick Miniman. I went to him. Once.
Say it again.
McMiniman.
Shame.
I forget why I had to go to the doctor for something when I was like, I don't know, 18 or 19, and it was like the first time I think I like just made my own appointment and paid for it, you know, and it was like kind of the first time I did that, and I went there, and that guy, I forget what we were talking about, but he was like, well, like how often or like what is your like sleeping schedule like or something like that. And I was like, well, I don't know. You know, I was all over the place at that time. Like, I still am. Like, I'm getting fucked up. I'm doing shit. Like, you know, I'm like, dude, I don't have a sleeping schedule. And he, like, started to get irritated and mad. The pedophile was my doctor. And I think he was just mad that I was, like, not a child anymore. And so I was, and I was like, he's like, well, what is your eating? It was like eating schedule and sleeping schedule. And I was like, neither of those things are even remotely fucking documentable or like regular at all. You can't do it. It's
random.
There's nothing to say. It's completely random. And he wouldn't accept that. And he was like, well, what time do you usually go to sleep? And I'm like, you know, when I get tired, he's like, when I get tired is not a time. And he pulls up his sleeve and he's looking at his watch and he goes, I don't have when I get tired on my watch here. Do you see it?
Oh my God.
And I was, and I remember being like 18, 19, whatever I was like, dude, why are you trying to make this as difficult as humanly possible? And I was like, what is going on with you? And he kind of like relaxed and backed off or whatever. And I think it was when I was trying to figure out my my diet because I was always fucking constipated, and that was when I was trying to figure out, and I ended up stopping eating wheat, all those years ago. And I think this was on my quest to figure that problem out. And he's like, all right, let's figure this out. Whatever. I'm going to fucking question you hostilely. But that's the pedophile. Yeah. He was a total dick. I hated that guy. And I remember the people laughed because the next time I went to that office for something, I was like, they were like, well, do you have a doctor? I was like, anyone except McMiniman. And
that's how I used to make my appointments too. I liked all of the doctors there except for him.
Right. Yeah.
I had one that I preferred, and if she wasn't available, I'd say anyone but McMiniman.
So that was our
Edward McMiniman.
Yeah, that was everybody's local town doctor's office in Downers Grove, Illinois, is what we're talking about. Was his name Edward McMiniman, and now he's
Edward McMiniman. He pleaded guilty to disseminating child pornography. Compared himself at Friday sentencing to a fictional physician with a dark secret. What? This is a Chicago Tribune.
What year was that? Can you tell us? That was not long ago.
No. 3 years ago or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't bigger news than it was either. And that practice is still there. I mean, obviously his name isn't on it anymore, but it's still there.
That was 2015. Jesus, that was okay. 2 years ago.
But I can't imagine that they kept a lot of. I mean, I would think that they would be driven out of town in a town like Downers Grove, rich, upper class, white,
I became a deplorable Jekyll and Hyde, Edward McMiniman said, recounting a dissent that ended on Friday with the DuPage County judge sentencing him.
Why is he even allowed to, comment poetically? Shut the fuck up, you fucking piece of shit.
Also,
take your 8 years of ass rape.
Yeah, exactly.
He was he had a pediatrician as part of what he offered. Like, it wasn't even like he was a creepy adult doctor.
So you're telling me a pedophile,
and had a hidden thing.
He wants to be close to kids.
Right.
That seems to be a common thing. We keep
over and over
again.
People that work closely with children. Yep. I wonder why they'd want to, because pretty much all the rest of us are fucking annoyed by children to the point that we can't be around them. It's like a kid is good for 45 minutes. You're like, the kid's funny. He said something crazy and he's running around. And then an hour later, you're just like, will you get this fucking thing out of here, dude? I'm trying to get drunk. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to babysit, and when it was for 2-3 hours, I could handle it. I would read something, listen to something. But when I had to be around him for 6 hours, I was like, never again.
Here's something I know about that because I used to babysit you, so I could totally relate to that. For people who don't know, Alex was the kid that lived next door to us, and you're 10 years younger than me, so
yeah,
I was probably about 14, 15 or something like that, and I was just the kid next door, and your parents wanted to go out and get drunk or whatever. Right. Yeah, I could, all right, and I'd just come over and watch you guys for, Actually, no, you know what? It might not have been when you were that young, because I don't remember when it was now that I think of it. But I remember it being
your girlfriend babysitted.
Well, that was later, but I remember doing it a few times and feeling like I can't believe that I'm responsible for children. Whatever age I was, I was I cannot believe that this is happening because I'm terrible.
Yeah, I have never felt capable of taking care of children.
No. Yeah.
And we've taken care of Dave's nephews a couple times. Like I said, they're 8 and 10, and they're old enough that you can just give them video games and some food, and they'll be fine. And even that, I'm like, what if something goes wrong? I don't know what to do.
I babysat a kid when he's 6 and 7. He might be 8 now, but I was constantly worried. I'm like, if this kid gets hurt, I'm fucked.
Oh yeah, and plus, Alex, by the way,
my fucking fault.
When I used to babysit you would go nuts because, by the way, Alex, he looked up to me quite a bit, and I was like, everybody who grows up with an older kid next door, they think they're really cool, you know. Yeah. So Alex,
whip together, you'd always be the prankster. I remember one time. Well, go on with your story.
Well, no, I was just gonna say. So Alex would be very excited when I would go to babysit, or it might have even been that I was just watching you guys for an hour while somebody went somewhere, But it was Alex
Vinny,
would go completely fucking insane, and you had problems with this shit. And I used to, and I never told your dad this, but I knew that you had a reaction to this shit called Red Dye 40. Because
well, they found out about it later, but yeah.
Because and so I found out about that. So when I would babysit Alex, I would purposely give him Red Dye 40 because it would make him totally nuts, and I thought it was hilarious.
So would Katie. Katie said the same thing.
Oh,
what?
really?
Yeah, totally.
Because, dude,
Hawaiian Punch, man. We would bring you a cup of Hawaiian Punch from our house and just watch.
Dude, my parents would never allow me to drink that shit.
No,
You
it's
guys
because it made
you guys were drugging me.
Dude, it was almost like you did PCP. It was fucking hilarious because you were like 6 or 7 years old, and we would give this shit to you, and you would just go out of your fucking mind and be dragging stuff out of the garage. Be like, all right, let's play wiffle ball, let's play baseball, all right, and you'd like set up your tee, and you'd hit it once and then just run back into the garage and be like, I'm dragging, and you'd be like dragging the basketball hoop out, like, all right, basketball. And like you'd run through like 50 sports in like 10 minutes. And I would just be laughing my fucking ass off because I was probably stoned as shit too, you know, and just poisoning you while I get stoned and laughing my fucking ass off for sure. I remember doing that. I forgot about that for a long time. I haven't thought about that. But it was so great, dude. It was so great how it was Red Dye 40, and you go, and you would know too. I remember one time you were eating a popsicle and you go, huh, you start getting all hyped. You're like, what the fuck? Or you didn't say fuck, but you're like, what's going on? I think there's Red Dye 40 in this. And you kept eating it. And I was like, I don't know. And you were like, does this have Red Dye 40? I'm not supposed to have Red Dye 40. And you start going nuts. It's like, yeah, this is good.
Well, Vinny was the kid. I remember one day I walked home from school, and you must have skipped school, and you were sitting in a tree in front of our house shooting people that were walking by with not a paintball gun, but like a goo gun, like a goo ball gun.
Oh, it just shot like slime. Yeah.
Yeah, you were shooting slime at people walking down the sidewalk, and you also had a rope.
No, I don't think there. I think I was shooting slime onto the windshield of cars. Is what I was doing.
Okay, all right, all right, sure. But I
you think that I was just shooting slime like at people 3 feet away from me and they weren't doing anything? Like, I don't think that's what was happening. I think I was shooting it over cars and they were like, what the fuck was that? And they couldn't see me.
Yeah, but you were in a tree shooting slime guns, and I remember you had a rope. You had a rope connected from your window to this tree. It was like 20 feet away, and you would rappel from the second floor of your house to this tree, and then there was also a rope you could climb up the tree, and you would I don't know what the point that was for.
It was a tow cable. I bought a truck and I took the tow cable off of it and tied it up in this tree and then tied the other end to I forget how I had it anchored inside of my room somewhere. I had it anchored I forget, dude, how did I even do that? I forget how I had it anchored with something really heavy.
Awesome.
It was around something really heavy. I don't remember what it was.
Even after you guys moved for years, the dead piece, like the piece of rope that was still tied to the tree, stayed up there because they didn't cut it all off.
No, that was Christmas lights that we couldn't get down, and they just like dangled down a little bit.
Yeah, but then how did
we? There were.
I'm trying to remember how we did the.
Oh, really?
How we did the zip line, like what I held on to zip line out of my window. I forget.
Yeah, you had a zip line.
I know, but I forget what we used.
Crazy that.
Yeah.
But
I remember zip lining to the tree.
You figured that out at like 16.
Well, it's not that hard to figure out.
No, yeah, but like, yeah, I know, but that's pretty dangerous.
There's kids designing, video games at 16. There's fucking,
No.
I can't believe
you tied a rope to a tree.
I can't believe you made a zip line that barely worked. Because it was a slow fucking zip line too. It was like the worst zip line in the world. We're making it sound all cool, but it was like you had to like swing your feet to like get going on it. It was really stupid.
It wasn't until you were older that I realized every time you were sitting on the roof, you were just smoking weed. I didn't know what weed was when I got older. I remember the first time I smelt weed, like at a party when we were smoking weed, and I instantly had a flashback to me knocking on my garage door, saying, and my dad being like, Go in the house. Go in the house
Right.
with your dad. Your dad. From that smell, I remembered the exact moment like I was living it again.
Here's another time I remember from when you were a kid. Me and your dad and my dad were smoking weed in your garage. And you had knocked on the door, and it was one of those times, and your dad was like, "Get out of here!" Just like, "Don't open the fucking door!" And you're like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Shut up!" And then we're sitting there smoking weed, and I remember looking out the window and seeing you in the tree. You were in the tree behind the garage, leaned over so that you could look into the window, and you were just watching us smoke weed. And you were probably, I don't know, like 12, 13, something like that. And so I saw you, but I didn't say anything. And then I went outside, and I was like, dude, come on, get out of here. Like, I'm not going to tell your dad you're spying on him smoking weed, but just fucking, now you know the horrible truth, and you can go back inside.
Tell you, the biggest mistake I ever made as a kid was one time I got in trouble for smoking weed, even though my dad smoked weed, and I told him that I knew where he hid his pot because like I was smoking his weed.
Then he moved it.
Yeah, and then he moved it.
I know.
I could never find it again.
That sucked.
Worst mistake ever.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Never do that.
I remember any
kids listening.
It took me so long to figure out. I something like that happened where my dad knew that I was stealing his weed because it got ridiculous. I was like taking way too much of it, and he knew that I was stealing it. And then he moved it, and it took me fucking months. You know where it was?
Where?
He was keeping it all the time in the fucking glove compartment of his car, which was a little 5-door Hyundai, a red 5-door like 91 Hyundai or some shit, and yeah, he was keeping it in his fucking car to keep me out of it.
Just driving around with it.
Yeah, and his car was always locked. And then one night he like was drunk or whatever and left it unlocked, and I had been trying to get in there for a long time, and I finally get in there, and I was like, yes, here it is, fucking like. And he always had like an ounce, 2 ounces of weed or some shit, He always had a bunch of weed, and I'd be like, hell yeah, and I'd fucking like take like a quarter, like, oh, he'll never notice this much, like.
Yeah.
Go get like 14 people high in the woods. Yeah, those were the days.
I remember, like, I had dad weed was always the best. Like, any weed my friends or me had stolen from our dads was so much better than the shit we were getting.
Yeah, they used to get
because older kids would sell you the shit. I remember being like 17 or 16, buying an eighth of like mids for $30, selling it to kids for $60, and then going and buying really good weed for $60. And we do that every weekend to the freshmen. It was the natural law of high school.
That was the natural law of being a dick. I never did that to anybody.
Okay.
And I sold weed my whole fucking life. I never did that shit. It's bad weed karma.
No, it was bad weed karma, and I made up for it.
You probably paid for it, right? Yeah.
I paid for it, and I made up for it in the future.
Yeah, dude.
I make up for it now. I'm generous. I'm about to hand Andrea something.
What is it? Is it weed?
No. It's tobacco.
I ripped off a bunch of people really bad one time accidentally. Somebody sold me some fake ass mushrooms, and I had not tested them at all. And everybody was so excited to get the mushrooms that I thought I had like 2 ounces, so I sold them all. And then I ate them, and nothing's happening, and my cell phone starts ringing, and I'm like, oh no. And like I'm waiting like 2-3 hours. I'm like smoking weed. I'm like, come on, trip. And now I've eaten like a quarter,
Oh,
and
God.
I'm like, okay, nothing's happening. Phone calls. I think this was actually before text messages, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And and I got phone calls. Somehow I had a cell phone. For some reason, I had a cell phone once in a while back then. And phone calls, and finally I start picking it up, and everybody, yo, I need my money back. And I'm like, well, I borrowed the money to get the mushrooms, and I already paid that person back, so I don't have the money anymore. And I'm 16, and I don't know how to get money. And we're pretty much all screwed here. Like, that's pretty much what's going on.
You used me because I had the balls to go buy them, and then
I went
didn't
down
know
with
the
some
difference.
random dude to the fucking west side to buy mushrooms like a retard. So,
That's why I hate. That's why I hate when people bitch too much about a bad drug deal because you're the one taking the risk.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
relax,
exactly.
Relax, dude.
Right. I'm taking a way bigger risk than you that spent your $30 on an eighth or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, and I was getting them also for really cheap, so I sold them for really cheap. That was the good thing. But I should have known when I was buying them, this is way too cheap. And
yeah. Someone
was...
just sold you like canned button mushrooms.
I forget what they looked like. They were weird. And he said, see, he had this whole plan before we went. Do you want to know what? I've never admitted this in my entire life. Do you guys want to know what's the funniest thing about this? Okay.
Yes.
So we met this guy, like, I think we met him. Where the fuck did we meet? I think it was just on the railroad tracks while we were getting high. And this guy was walking down the railroad tracks, and he's like, yo, are you guys looking for any certain kind of drugs right now? And we're just like, he was just this random guy walking down the tracks. And we're like, me and a couple other people were like, yeah, mushrooms. He's like, oh, cool, because I can get mushrooms. And we're like, for real? He's like, I just need a ride to the city. And you guys give me the money, and I'm going to run in this place, and I'm going to get you some mushrooms. And we're like, okay. And so here's the truth of this, and I'm so fucking embarrassed by this. This is so terrible, dude. Okay, so we drive him down to it was right off 290 and probably like just west of Homan Avenue somewhere. And so this is not a good neighborhood, right? And we go to this. Okay, dude, I can't even say it.
Come on, you have to now.
He has us pull up to a grocery store, and he goes, "Shut up, dude! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! We were young, and we really wanted mushrooms. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! I didn't want to fucking tell you this." Dude, shut up.
That's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Hold on. And he goes, he goes, oh yeah, my guy, he works here, and he's got him on him.
Oh my God.
I'm going to run it. I'm going to run in and buy him. Give me the money. And then he comes back out. And to his credit, they were like because he had, by the way, when I said before that he had planned this the whole time, he told us that there were these weird mushrooms from Thailand. That's what he said. He's like, yeah, they don't look like normal mushrooms. I'm going to go pick them up. Trust me, I tripped balls on them last night, dude. You guys are going to be fucking tripping. It's going to be great. He's like, but they look a little weird. You'll see when I give them to you. They don't really look like it. So he takes us to this fucking grocery store. Yeah, my guy's in here. I'm going to go get him. Here, give me the money. And we gave him a whole bunch of fucking money. And he comes back out and he had it all wrapped up in a bunch of bags. And he did the slick, like, all right, dude, I got to hand this off and roll. You know, there's cops around here. I got to go. And he just, like, slips it in and, like, runs away. And we're like, all right, well, yeah, that guy was a little shady. Good thing we got these mushrooms. But I have never admitted to anyone in my entire life that we were in a grocery store parking lot and he went in the grocery store and spent like $4 on some grocery store mushrooms. Now, listen,
were they like dried and stuff?
They were they were some kind of like I don't know what kind of shut
they
up,
had
dude.
Italian
I don't know what kind of
them.
Look, dude, I was no. I was very young, okay? I hadn't been around too much at that point. I was probably just a young 16, you know, and there was some weird Asian mushroom, I don't know, maybe a shiitake or something, but it was some shit that I hadn't seen, you know, and they were kind of like chopped up. And I was like, all right, whatever, this looks good.
This is mushrooms.
He was like 30, okay? This guy was like 30, and we were like 16, and he totally gypsied us, you know? He was just like, he's just like,
I have a friend.
He made us feel like he made us feel like we needed to know what he was talking about. He's like, you know those kind that are like they're from Thailand, they're like this, you know? And we're like, yeah, totally, yeah. you know.
Those are the scummiest people, like 30-year-old people that rip off high schoolers.
Oh yeah,
Wait.
yeah.
I have a friend who, during a high school trip, took a trip with school to the Pacific Northwest. Probably this was Seattle, I want to say. But he was trying to get weed while he was out there, and he encountered a homeless man who said that he could get him weed.
Okay.
He was like, "Oh man, I sell weed," and my friend was like, "Okay, how much is it?" And he said, "I'll tell you what, come over to this chicken place, buy me like I'm gonna order how much money's worth of chicken, and you can just like pay for it however you want to pay for it, and I'll give you the weed, but I'm gonna eat it, and that's how you're gonna pay for it." And he was like, okay, like whatever you say, that's weird, but whatever. And so they go and they sit down and eat together. And the guy ordered like $20 worth of food. So he's like, okay, I guess I'm getting a gram. And after the meal, he's like, okay, what, do we go to the bathroom? And the guy was like, oh man, those are some nice shoes you got there. And my friend is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, man, let me look at those shoes. And he like starts looking at his shoes and like touching them and stuff. And then he realizes that he slipped something inside of his shoe while he was doing that. And he said it felt like a little bag of weed. And he was like, all right, cool. Like, that was it. That's what I'm purchasing, whatever. Hey. And then the guy, they parted ways. He gets back to his hotel, takes his shoe off, and he's like, oh, wait, it's weed wrapped in a napkin. And he unfolds it, and it's just a napkin.
Props.
Yeah.
Hey, those are some moves, though. I mean, props to that homeless guy, I guess.
Yeah,
who
dude,
just
those
got
are
like a huge fucking meal.
That is some finesse.
One thing you have to admit to as white kids from the suburbs, when we started, if you're an adventurous white kid from the suburbs and you've actually gone out and fucking traveled around and done a lot of shit, you got ripped off a couple times because you're a fucking moron. That's just part of it. You didn't grow up,
and then you learn immediately.
Like what they call
immediately.
What they call streetwise is not all that complicated. You know, it really isn't. But like when you didn't grow up that way, you get taken advantage of 2 or 3 times in certain different ways, and then you're like, all right, dude, never ever again.
Yeah.
And you just you just harden up to an unreasonable level. You know, a lot of people. But like you just go like I remember another time for my first week in New Orleans, we stayed on the fucking West Bank. We had no idea what was going on, dude. And we were in this hotel, and some dude came by and was like talking some shit, and we were like smoking a joint and stuff. And he's like, you know, I could get Coke. You guys want some Coke? We're like, yeah. And another thing, fucking flour, you know, come and sell us flour and do this shit. Just like, and then they were so obvious about it too. They like got the money and they're like, all right, I gotta go. And they just like run to the car. It's like, you didn't have to run. We weren't even opening it yet, you know. Like you could have been casual, but as soon as they ran, I just took the thing and I just like threw it on the ground. I was like, fuck. And I grabbed there was like the tray from the air conditioner, you know, the outside, you know what I mean? The thing that catches the water from the outside air conditioner for whatever reason, one of those things. And so this big heavy plastic tray. And I just like wrenched it off the air conditioner, and I started running after them. And they jump in their car and they take off, and they have to do a U-turn around this fence. So I tried to throw the thing at their fucking car as they went. Like I had to throw it over the fence, basically. You know what I'm saying? As they did the U-turn and they're coming back towards me on the other side of the fence, I threw it over and tried to hit them and timed it wrong and missed. And I'm kind of glad that I missed because like they were kind of like fucking pretty hardcore gold tooth looking like neck tattoo gangbanger guys. So probably better that I missed when I was a 135-pound 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you learn so fast. Like I remember.
That was another one, and there was only one other one. Sorry, you do yours, but one other time we got ripped off for hash by the old trick of I'll go in this building and pick it up, and I'll just go out the back door. So
yeah, I've had that one.
Yeah,
I just got one time. I blame this half on being hyped up on fucking amphetamines from doctors, but it's like when I first started smoking weed. This kid like met me at a park down the street from our house, and we're like sitting there, and his friends are driving, and he comes up and he shows me like a half a gram, like a 10 sec, he's like, this is the shit. It's really good. Like, he's like, you want, and I'm like, all right, let me get an eighth of that. And I give him the money, and he's like, all right, I gotta go skill it out in the car. And then they fucking just drive away.
He pulled a Blues Brothers on you?
Yeah. And I'm running after the car screaming, and dude.
Hey, you know who pulled a Blues Brothers on me?
Who?
The fucking Plain White Tees when I was in high school. Did you know
Really?
this? Do you know who the Plain White? Does everybody know who that is?
The band. The band.
Here, I'll play.
Yeah.
I'll play you
They
their
used
big.
to live across the street from us. Yeah.
I'll play you the big song. I think everybody's probably heard this fucking piece of shit.
Hey There, Delilah?
Yeah.
Wait, they're from Downers Grove? They're from Downers Grove?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think
Or
they're
Naperville? Oh no, wait. It was
one of the suburbs.
it was the other one who lived across the street.
Whatever. So everybody's heard this song, Hey There, Delilah? Okay.
Yeah.
These guys, when they were on the West Suburban Chicago local scene, we opened for them, I don't know how many times, probably 3 or 4 times. And with my little fucking punk band in high school. So there's this show we did with them at the fucking church. There's a church in Downers Grove, which is actually kind of legendary for like Chicago local band scenes. You know, it's been going on since the 60s. And there's been a lot of really successful bands that started out there. So
Two-Way Street.
the Two-Way Street coffee house in the basement of this church downtown. And so we do a show with the Plain White Tees and some other band. And we brought, dude, I'm not shitting you, like everybody from our high school to that show. Like we drew like hundreds of people. And they were like, our crowd was fucking awesome. And I'll never forget how little we appreciated that we were fucking like destroying like crowds of 200 people when we were 16. Like I should have appreciated that more. But anyways, we're doing that shit. And then the Plain White Tees come on and everybody goes outside to smoke weed and nobody gave a fuck. And so they were pissed off and we knew that the door, maybe it was just us and them actually, but we knew that the door was $500 was supposed to go to the bands. And we were like, look, let's split it because we brought everybody to this show, clearly. But we'll be nice and we'll split it with you because you were technically the headliner. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Let us go get some cash out of the car because we'll just cash the check later and we'll get some cash for you right now. And they get in their van and they fucking take off. And we're like chasing them like, you fucking piece of shit, dude. And they never talked to us again, never responded to any emails, nothing. And then they got famous. This fucking big-nosed faggot owes me $250 fucking dollars from when I was 16, and I will track down my other band members from that time and give them their share. But this fucking asshole was also known for being like 23, 24 years old and like hitting on and flirting and also making out with like 13, 14-year-old girls. I'm not saying that he did it. I'm saying I heard he did it from multiple people and he was known for it. I can't say if it's true or not, can I? No, I can't.
Not unless you saw it happen.
And I didn't, but I heard from the 13-year-old horse's mouth about what happened.
Ooh.
Because I dated her for a long time afterwards.
Oh.
You remember? You know who I'm talking about probably, Andrea. My first like real girlfriend in high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, this guy was like 22 and like made out with me in a car when I was 13. And I was like, okay.
No way.
That's what she told me about the lead singer in the Plain White Tees, whose name I'm not even gonna say. Fuck it, dude. I don't think this is suable. I'm just saying that's what I heard, right?
Yeah, totally.
I can say somebody told me that. I don't know if it's true. But I don't know why somebody would lie about that.
But the other part about them ripping you off is true because you experienced that firsthand.
Oh, 100% they fucking pulled the Blues Brothers on us, which was
kind
of, dude, I'll give it to them. It was funny. You know?
Yeah.
If I was them, I would have been laughing my fucking ass off. But
yeah, totally. That would have been good.
Yeah, but it sucked. Because we had a 5-piece band and we wanted $50 each. It's not too much to ask for bringing that many fucking people to a venue. Jesus Christ, dude. We were already getting raped and they stole our rape money.
Damn.
Well, continuing with the like pedophiles of the week, I guess we allegedly the Plain White Tees.
Smack him.
So fuck you guys.
Yeah, dude. I'm glad I finally told that on the show. Actually.
Yeah, I have never heard that story before.
Fuck that. All I remember is the lead singer and what a douche he would be. Like every time we played with them, they were one of the bands that was like, oh, we've had radio exposure. We're like separate. They wouldn't be cool. Like there were certain other bands that were like popular, and we were young as shit. We're 15, 16 years old, and these guys were all in their 20s, and we'd be opening up for them. And they'd be fucking acting all, big around us.
All
and stuff.
high and mighty.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, I can't imagine doing that. When I've played with younger kids than me, I chill with them and talk to them and see, what's going on with you guys? What's up? And I'm interested in where they're at and stuff and talking about shit and whatever. I can't imagine being like that, like this elitist attitude. It's so fucking weird. But there was a lot of other bands around town that we opened for that were more successful, that were really cool. One of which was Ophir. Remember them?
Yeah, totally.
OPHUR. The
Yeah,
guy.
they were fantastic.
Dude, they were great, and especially because they were young as shit too. They were in their early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah.
They seemed old to us because we were 16, but they were really 23 or some shit. And
yeah.
And yeah, they used to be fucking great, and they were cool guys, and they'd hang out and talk to us and encourage us and be like, yeah, you guys, are, and they'd be awesome. And then that guy killed himself. Speaking of suicides,
totally. Yeah, the lead singer.
Okay, they were from but sorry, not that band. Plain White Tees were from Lombard.
Oh, okay.
I'm just looking. I can't believe the story because I imagine they made a significant amount of money on that just one song. But I am interested if we
this was years before that.
Compared, but if we compared and contrasted both of your musical output, like overall.
Oh, to see who's like a better writer or more creative or dedicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. By the way, that Delilah song they had been pushing since the time that they Blues Brothered us. They were pushing that song back then.
That song was huge. That came out in 2005.
No. They were playing that song in like 1999.
Okay. All right. Well, it must have debuted when they got signed in 2005.
Right. That's the official release or whatever.
Yeah.
But they had been peddling that shit song around for a long time, dude.
That song got a Grammy. Open for a band who got a Grammy.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, fuck them.
It's not. It doesn't really. Who cares? Because but it's kind of.
I saw them play in someone's garage right before they got famous.
Yeah, dude. We used to see them all the fucking time, dude.
I hate bands like this, and I'm looking at pictures of them. They look retarded.
Yeah.
Jesus
no, and I'll
Christ.
be honest. When I was like doing that, I liked them. I was like, oh, they're cool, you know.
No.
Until they did that shit to us, and then I was like, oh, fuck those faggots, dude. I'm gonna make fun of them forever. Like just switch 180 degrees. I'm
looking at pictures. I'm trying to guess which one's the statutory rapist. It's not the black guy.
It's the fucking big nose, dramatic looking one.
Yeah. He looks like
totally
one.
picked him out. He pointed at him first.
I pointed a picture and showed it. Dude, wow. It looks like
what's his name? Creep. Tom or something? Tom something? I think.
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
Tom pedophile.
No, dude, we can't. We got to be careful. Seriously.
I'm sorry.
Tom Higginson.
Oh, that's right.
No, Higginson.
Tom Higginson. Okay, because honestly, the reason I want to be careful about this is because I'm going to put this up on YouTube and I'm going to make it so he sees it because he probably will. Because I actually know where they hang out to this day. In a town called Elmhurst, because I've had people looking out for them for a long time, and I know where they hang out at a bar in Elmhurst, Illinois. And I'm not crazy enough to go in there and cause a scene. I really am not, but I know where they're at. I'll just tell you that. I know where their families live. I know people that know them very well.
I know.
Yeah.
I know he was born on February.
Wow, how
22nd,
creepy did that sound? I didn't even mean that.
Yeah.
I just know like what town. I just meant I knew what town their families are from and shit like that because I've met.
Not planning anything.
Yeah,
because I know. Well, I
mean,
know old friends. I know old friends and cousins of theirs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
you're not talking about Villa Park, are you?
yes, I am 100%.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Villa Park.
You're not talking about the 37-year-old 6'3" American. Oh shit! With a child. Fuck, I'm not gonna say his name.
But you could.
But I could. But we won't.
Who's gonna?
Because we have integrity on the Overdose Talk Show.
Oh, you fucking. Oh man, I've said faggots too many times tonight already.
Yeah. We are getting sued.
I'm a fucking white male.
You sissy little pop punk queers. How about?
Yeah,
I gotta stop doing the gay stuff because it is getting to the point. Like here's what's weird about it. I remember when I started using the word faggot or calling things gay, me and my friends did it sarcastically because only stupid people did that. You know what I mean? And I remember it's like our initial reaction growing up was like, dude, why do you even call it that? That's dumb. You know, and so, but it was later on in life that we'd be like, that's gay in an ironic way. And then it just came to be like the the way of talking somehow. It was like,
dude, because when I was a kid, that was just normal. But isn't it weird that the word to describe being extremely happy ended up being the word to describe being really lame and stupid?
To me, it still has like an ironic value to where it's like somebody's like, oh man, this construction is like really making it hard to get to work, and I'm like, yeah, this fucking construction is gay. Like that's still
still kind of funny because like how?
Because it's stupid. You know, it's just silly. It's like you're acknowledging, you're making yourself the butt of the joke. Basically, when you do that. But I feel like I should, I don't know, dude, I hate this. I don't want to be fucking like, oh, let's give in to language policing. But when I think about it's kind of getting harder and harder to justify faggot. It's like, maybe I should expand my repertoire a little and stop using it so much because
I understand what you mean.
You know what I mean? I've never used it against gay people, but it's like that the insult is usually for a guy who's like not being like a guy. He's like being, you know, somehow.
Like, but it's but it's a reactionary thing. Like
I feel like I should stop saying it. It's hard.
Bill Burr put it well.
Should I, Andrea? What do you think? Sorry, Alex. What did Bill Burr say? No. Hang on. There's no people. There's nobody with any opinions on this show.
No, I guess we should, Andrea.
No, what did Bill Burr say?
No, he just described it some ways. Like it used to just mean a guy who was being weird. Like he said he was playing ice hockey and he fell down and some guy came over and put out his hand to pick him up, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And Bill Burr was like, "Yeah, you faggot." Like it was just a reaction. Like it was
don't
weird.
Fucking care about me. Faggot.
Or like, dude, like have you ever had a friend who like just kind of hugged you for too long, or like maybe you high-fived and they held hands for like a couple too many seconds?
Yeah, you.
And it's like you're a fag.
Sorry. Well.
You know, you do say fag a lot more than you say dyke, and I feel like that would be the equivalent for me. Because, like, I feel the same way about faggot as I do about nigger, which is, like, it doesn't apply to me, so I...
Faggot and nigger roll off the tongue very well. Dyke, I don't like how it sounds.
I just, like, I don't have any...
Dyke is ugly sounding.
Yeah, it really
lesbo.
is. Yeah, and even that, but it's like,
that sucks too.
I don't have any...
No.
It doesn't apply to me, so it's hard for me to say whether or not it's too hard of a thing to say.
Yeah.
Fucking carpet munchers.
It is.
Yeah, all right. Then we're getting a little closer now to things I think you should probably not say.
Okay.
Just because.
You don't like that one?
Gross. No, that one is way worse than dyke.
In the correct term, rug muncher.
Right, rug muncher. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like that's like saying like all gay people are cocksuckers and just like saying what
I've said many times.
Yeah, totally. But it's like, do you have to get that specific about it, or?
You know, Andrew, I think it's important, like we were talking about earlier with Christopher Columbus. It's like, why lie to children? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
what's the point of masking any of this? They need to know. In fact, if I have children, the first thing I'm going to teach them is all the details of homosexual relations.
It's the only way to get them to avoid it.
I'm just going to make sure they know how evil it is. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I don't think you should teach kids anything about sex. I think it develops naturally. I remember being a little kid.
Well, no. I should have said I am trying to produce serial killers. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then of course.
So my plan actually works really well, I think.
I think it's Britain is actually openly teaching like
that fucking bitch ass country. What are they doing?
Yeah, dude, they're fucking lost to us, faggots. They're teaching their elementary school children about transsexualism or what I don't know how you fucking say it.
It's transsexual. It's transsexualisms.
Whatever.
Transensual.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Awkward timing break. Taking a break on the show at an awkward time. Doesn't make sense at all. OverdoseTalkShow.com. We'll be right back.
Look at the ad. Bartender, like way, like 10,000 times more likely.
Wait.
How do they measure that? Maybe it's just because at 35, women get fed up of being hit on by drunk guys so much, and only men stick with the job.
Hold on, you mispronounced fat and worthless.
It's the type of thing where
said after 35 women become.
They'll go with the man over the woman based on age and like perceived desirability.
Are you saying we live in a?
Hey, we're back on the Overdose Talk Show. Conversation already in progress. Awkward break apologized for. By me now, sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
Apparently there is there's some type of, well, you wouldn't call it a wage gap, I guess a hiring gap.
Yeah, it's just like a universal preference among restaurant owners and employers that like an older male bartender is more desirable than an older female bartender.
I don't know actually. I've had a bunch of older female bartenders that I thought were great.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you're doing the hiring and it's the theory or the whoever determined this, I don't have it in front of me. It's just something I know about. Two people with equal qualifications and of equal age, say over 35, if one is a man and one is a female, they're much likelier to go with the man. And that's just it could be a million reasons. Bartending is a physically demanding job. It's hard.
Also, like men, like a lot of people say this, but men, they like age better at a certain age than women.
Dude, I was just,
totally.
like between like 30 and 50, men can stay kind of young looking and like, they can stay in that younger female demographic that like girls will still be attracted to them. But a lot of guys just aren't into women in their 40s.
And I was also thinking, like, restaurants know guys are into women in their 20s. But also, men, fucking 20-year-old men are dumb. Like, men, they get older. Well, all people get older, and they learn stories. So, like, older men are more interesting because they've been through some shit. They know some stories. Whereas, like, with the girls, they're just thinking, let's get the youngest ones we can get in here.
With the girls, they don't have any stories because they have spent their lives in a kitchen. And at home and rearing the children.
I don't know. This whole thing is weird because I've known some really interesting older female bartenders. Like some of the maybe my experience is kind of rare. I guess I don't know, but like I've hung out at some like neighborhood dives with like legendary older female bartenders that everybody knows, and they're what I mean.
Why don't you ask our mom about how easy it was for her to get a bartending job with 20-something years of experience after a certain age?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
I mean.
Yeah, there's a certain
certain
point where like the 55-year-old guy has this sort of like I'm a career bartender. I know everything about booze. I've traveled and then the older female bartender might have all the same stuff, but you're just like, you're kind of like droopy. I don't really like that. Like, your face looks kind of fucking tired. Yeah.
Also,
it's really unfair. It really is.
Well, and the other part of it too is that a younger female will be looked down on and like think that I couldn't possibly know as much as the male
Yeah, but
bartender
dude-
working
Whatever.
next to me.
If they're doing
So
it,
I
if
work-
they're doing it, they're smart because I know they can make a lot of money.
Now-
I work at a place where I've worked for 3.5 years, and we have 2 male bartenders there that have worked there for 6 months or less. I am one of the only females who works behind the bar, and 100% of the time, if there is a man behind the bar, customers will ask them a question over me.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let me
I
say
would
this.
too. Looking at you. First of all, Andrea, you're like 4.5 feet tall, and you really are like one of those people that just perpetually looks like you're 19. Like you just don't look like you would know anything. You know what I mean? Like you're just kind of like, if I saw like a guy in his 40s, I'd be like, that guy knows way more about liquor than her for sure.
Yeah,
Like, I would
people
just-
are always surprised when I can teach them stuff.
I would
Well,
just assume that.
Even we established know how old you were. I thought you were like 4 years younger than you are.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've known you my whole life.
That's true.
You just have a young soul. But I was thinking, like, all right, if you see a woman bartender with a scar across her face, you're probably gonna want to avoid that chick. But you see a 55-year-old man with a big scar on his face, I'd have some questions about this.
Yeah.
Like, what
Like
has
this guy's
happened?
this guy's like Jack London here or something.
Yeah, like,
he's like
this dude, but he's been to Nam. Like he knows he's got some stories. This is
Yeah.
exciting.
That
What is
woman
that? Because-
horribly disfigured.
Like, yeah,
this
what-
man has good stories.
I remember there was this bar in Willow Springs, Illinois, and I don't know the fucking name of it. I don't think it had a name. I don't even know. It was an old style sign that was set back like 100 feet from the street or more. Actually probably more. Actually considerably more. I maybe more like 100 yards. And I drove past it. I drove past it for like 2 years. And I would just look back there and see that old style sign on this big old mansion, and be like, what the fuck is that? Is that somebody's house that they just have that sign? And then I sort of started to observe people go in and out and stuff. And I'm like, dude, that's a bar. So I roll back there one day and there's this older Irish lady bartending. And she was like probably 55-ish, like we were saying. But she was very interesting, had been all over the world, was a great conversationalist, and was really cool. And I've known a couple of older women like that I guess have skewed my perspective because, yeah, I don't know, dude. I think I've known more interesting old lady bartenders than men, actually. But still,
Yeah, no,
somehow I agree with what you're saying. I'm not sure how, but she was great. Because I would go.
That is your male
No,
privilege talking.
I would go in there.
Privilege alert. White male privilege alert.
I would go in there with different girls all the time, and she would like wink at me and be like, yeah, you're pulling it off. And she would never.
Hello, stranger.
She would never say shit to anybody. She'd be like, well, yeah, and she would even make like subtle jokes while we were talking. She'd be like, well, it's good to see you. Usually he comes in here alone. I feel bad for him, like stuff like that. She was hilarious. I'm not even gonna try to do the Irish accent because I can't.
I love like witty old ladies.
Yeah.
They're the best. Your grandma's like that.
Yeah, I
A
hope.
little. Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah.
She
is pretty hilarious.
She'll say shit.
She's 90.
Like,
she's like
I saw
She's a shit
I
talker,
saw her. Dude, I saw her and your dad at the grocery store like 2 months ago, and she looked at my mom. She said, "Oh, hey." She's like, "You've gained a lot of weight." The first thing she said, and then she gives her a hug.
But she probably said it in some slick ass way of like, oh man, you've gained a lot of weight. Sorry about that. Here, let me give you a hug. Oh yeah, I've been there myself. Like.
Yeah, but like it, in a
didn't
way where it
recognize
didn't even put my mom off at all. She just understood. Like, yeah.
Let's be honest. Our grandmother is one of those ones, and this is why we like laugh our asses off at shit like the grandma on Malcolm in the Middle. You remember that? The evil Polish grandmother. I'm not calling our grandmother evil, but she is definitely mean in a lot of ways. What, Andrea?
She's tough.
She's tough in a way that's like it's invaded her psyche. Like she grew up in some of the worst times in American history, in the Depression, in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Like she knows struggle. She knows she knows poverty. She knows absolute tragedy. I mean, she's been through shit. Half her fucking brothers and sisters died while they were growing up. You know what I mean? We always hear those stories about like, oh, so-and-so, and he died when he was 12, and he died when he was 7, and shit. Well, and you're like, holy fuck. And then, but like from our perspective, growing up how we grew up, we're like, this lady is a psycho. What the fuck? And it's funny because it never occurred to me till now because I've always looked at her as just kind of like mean, and she's just like, she just starts shit, and she does that shit like exactly how Alex just said. She's been doing shit like that for 35 years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like she's been doing that shit forever, and she's in her 90s now. And I guess it's kind of easy to look at her as like mean and cold-hearted, but like imagine the life she had compared to ours. And
seriously,
I mean, we could go on for a long time. Like, you know, she had a child, you know, as a result of, can we say stuff in that? You know, whatever.
I don't know.
Our parent, our dad had a brother at one point that she had from another situation before she was married. That was kind of controversial. She'd been through all this shit. You know what I mean? It was a weird for back then.
She had made like some weird, tough decisions that like put her in very difficult spots, and she just like fucking did it.
Hardcore shit for a woman who was from the middle of nowhere in that time, and then was living in one of the biggest cities in the country
with no money
in the 40s and early 50s on her own. You know, and in some fucked up situations. Like she's been through some shit, and she's 94, 95, and
about to be 95,
about to be 95, and like still pretty fucking sharp in a weird way.
Oh, yeah, but, still sharp for sure.
But yeah, she is like, I don't know if she's got some extremely cold-hearted tendencies, you know.
Yeah, but it's that generation, because my great grandmother, there's like a story when my mom and my uncle were in the car with her. I guess it's my great aunt. A trucker was like on her ass, and she starts like fucking slowing down and telling him to pull over because he kept riding her ass. And he walks up to the car, and she pulls out a fucking handgun, points it in his face, and says, "Get off my ass, motherfucker!" Like those people didn't take shit.
Yeah.
Our grandmother punched a cop in the face.
Yeah.
And when she went to court,
hold on. Wait. She punched a cop in the face at O'Hare Airport.
Yeah. And when she ended up going
but
to
this
court,
was, by the way, this was like the late 60s, I think.
Yeah, she was. I think it was even later than that.
Was it? Yeah,
I think she was in her 50s. So that would be
some
70s,
cop was fucking lipping off to her and telling her to move the car and being a dick, and she just hauled off and fucking smacked him right in the jaw.
And then so she went to court, and that ended with the judge ordering the cop to apologize to her. And then she got a card issued to her that allowed her to park anywhere she wanted in the city of Chicago. Literally anywhere. She could park on top of a fire hydrant.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird.
That's what I'm saying. As mean as she is, and like, believe me, half of our family doesn't like her. Kind of. Would that be fair to say, Andrea? Do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a strong contingent of our family that is just like, yeah, I'm done. You know, she's evil. I'm done with her. And we're more of the agnostic.
We are not of that group.
We're Nana agnostics.
Yeah.
And I still call her here and there, not nearly as much as I probably should, but like we still keep up with her and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was truly a badass, dude. She really was. You just didn't fuck with her. I remember a story that our aunt told me, and she told me when they were kids that our dad, who was our aunt's younger brother, was playing with his friends in the alley where they lived on the north side of Chicago, and they had these like toy machine guns, and they were going, prr, 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 you know, and shooting each other and run around. And there was a Holocaust survivor who lived a couple doors down and was complaining that they were running around firing machine guns all day and saying like, "This is enough of this. I can't take it anymore." And so Nana grabbed the machine gun from one of the kids and pointed it at the guy and fired at him a few times and said, "Shut up, pussy."
So nowadays that'd be considered somebody with PTSD.
Oh, she was probably
That was a
committing
hate crime.
She was committing hate crimes left and right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just-
It was a different time.
And then she was getting rewarded for it, like for punching a cop. She got a reward for that.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
a big one.
A pass to park anywhere in the city. That sounds
And a
insane.
written apology from the cop that she
Right,
punched.
that's
And she got to punch a cop.
She got to punch a cop. Everyone wants to punch a cop. It's like when the principal lets one student throw a pie in his face or something.
Right. Yeah,
everyone wants to
bullshit.
punch a cop. I know Vinny does.
Oh, I want to punch one cop. Sorry. Oh my god.
Were you going to say you want to punch one cop?
Vinny.
One cop in particular. It's resin.
Why?
All right. Well, then I'm gonna go up, Vinny. We always talk about like how we build our perfect country.
Tony Jefferson, Western Springs.
No.
Police
Save
officer.
it. No,
Tony Jefferson.
wait. Just wait. I want
Fat
get your
fucking
fucking
piece
voice
of shit.
together. I would like dirty cops if they were charged with something. I'd find like the baddest criminals, and then you'd put it on live TV like UFC, and you'd make the cops fight them to the like death. That'd be part of. Sorry, who? What's the name of this guy?
I'd make them fucking fight sharks underwater. Fuck them.
Yeah. Or like you make them dodge sharks.
Yeah.
This week on cop.
Holy fuck! Wait a second. Did you see that new spearfishing video that just came out? I don't know if you guys follow those, but
No.
There's this new spearfishing video that came out of a guy getting attacked by it was probably a bull shark or something like that, and he's getting attacked. The shark was coming in fast, dude, like Ferrari style, just right at this fucking guy, and he turns. You could tell like at the beginning of the video that he's just here. Pull this up. Just look at like spearfishing. Let me see if I can find this spearfishing attack. And it'll probably be one of the ones that comes up. No, fuck, I don't know. I just saw this yesterday, and and the shark is like zooming at this guy, and he just last second points his fucking spear at it and spears it in the mouth, and the shark, you just see like blood fly everywhere, and the shark starts spasming around. It's pretty gruesome, but he had no choice. The thing was coming fucking straight at him, like South Park. It was coming right at us. It was real. And the guy was so fucking lucky. It was insane. Because he looked down to his left right as the thing was like, dude, so fast. I probably couldn't have even got the shot. I would have just shit my pants and died.
Oh my god.
Just been like, all right, that's it for me.
Fuck.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Obviously.
It is scary. I mean, now that we know that memories are passed through our DNA, traumatic memories, it explains why sharks are so fucking freaky.
And spiders.
Spiders, snakes, I fucking hate them. But it's because fucking people, my ancestors knew that they killed people that they loved, and it was very traumatic.
And
they figured it out.
ancestors did?
Yeah, because with DNA's, our memories are passed through your DNA. Traumatic memories.
They killed people they loved?
No. People were killed by like spiders, sharks.
By your ancestors?
No. And my ancestors witnessed these fucking creatures kill people or something, obviously, and that explains phobias, I think.
I guess, yeah.
That's my hypothesis.
It is amazing to me the reaction that a spider elicits, even though I have rarely in my life ever been in a place where a spider could actually harm me.
But I think I found this video on the Liquid Vision channel on YouTube. Shark attack, bull shark attack, spear fisherman. You guys should check this out really quick. Yeah, dude, oh my god. Holy fucking Christ. No way. God damn it, dude. You guys gotta see this. Look up shark attack, bull shark attack, spear fisherman.
I hate that. I really don't want to watch that.
Seriously, look at it, dude. Seriously, come on. Andrew, it's just a fish in the end. I mean, sharks get, dude. Remember there was like 11 attacks in one weekend off the coast of Virginia. They get their fucking shots in, dude. Trust me.
People kill way more sharks than sharks kill.
That's a liberal myth or something.
No, I don't think so.
You fucking snow.
Also,
you
they were in
fucking
the shark's
snowflake.
territory. If that shark came into my neighborhood, into my home,
Look, I totally
that would
agree.
be one thing.
I totally agree. Is somebody watching it?
Alex is showing it to me.
It's not, Andrew. It's just a fish. It's okay.
Oh, that is fucking crazy.
Dude, yeah.
Dude,
That guy was fucking dead, right? If he
that's
didn't.
dude,
I
that is
didn't even see it coming.
I know.
was like, what's the shark?
That dude must feel like, oh my god. I wonder what he did that night. What did he do when he got home?
Oh, he got fucking drunk. That's what he did, dude. He got
by the
fucking
way-
drunk as shit.
Dude, do you think his brain released DMT when that happened?
Kinda, probably a little. Something happened because you.
I know when you die, it happens like, because you get a little bit of it at night when you dream. Anyone who doesn't know, and then when you die, you're flooded with DMT. Naturally,
And then he goes up over the water right after he stabs a shark, and I'm like, "What are you doing, dude? You got to keep an eye out." And then he goes right back down under, and the shark's like flipping around. I'm pretty sure that shark is dead.
Oh yeah, I don't think it survived
or
that.
dying.
no way.
Yeah,
He
it's
got him.
still alive. It's kind of moving, but it's definitely dying. He got it right through the brain. Liquid Vision,
That's one less shark off the streets.
the
I'm
Liquid
gonna like
Vision
that.
channel on YouTube.
I'm gonna like that video. Yeah, it's Liquid Vision. Just shark attack, bull shark attacks, spear fisherman.
There's a bunch of comments about, like, I feel bad for the shark, and then there's one comment that says, how cruel, you should have let him kill you.
God. Jesus Christ.
Like, we're on his turf.
No, I mean, obviously that's a joke, but yeah, dude, that's a fucking crazy video, right?
Yeah, that's I don't ever want to be underwater.
Children in Africa could have eaten that spear? What?
Is that what somebody said?
Yeah, dude. With a frowny face. They could have eaten that. Just some
What the fuck, dude?
What a twist. I love that.
What a weird joke. Oh my god. Where does it say that? I don't see that. Here's a guy that said, I wonder how this guy didn't drown with balls so big.
Here come the vegans. Good call.
It must suck big time to get a spear in the fucking mouth, but still, hats off. If I saw a shark charging at me, I'd probably spear gun myself to end it quickly. That's more how I. That's more how I feel. I'd be, dude. I'd be just done. I don't know. I never.
You are not getting the satisfaction.
Yeah, I never have that like split second killer instinct. My first thing is always like, huh, like, no.
It's all hot.
Yeah.
There's a comment in Russian. Have you ever just gone down a rabbit hole of watching Russian viral videos?
Oh, sure.
Like,
yeah.
dude, like
Shit is weird over
they're
there.
cruel. Like I've seen, like girls especially will like beat the shit. There's videos of girls like beating the shit out of a girl for like 10 minutes. Put it on the internet. They're fucking
I believe it.
crazy, and they get so fucking wasted. I looked up the statistic earlier. 25% of the men die from alcohol-related deaths due to a study in 2014. So,
is that a lot?
I mean,
sounds like a lot.
Your men are dying from alcoholism. That's pretty bad.
Well, dude, I see.
That could be any chronic illness, which cause maybe alcohol or like drunk driving or. Alcohol-related death doesn't necessarily mean dying from overdosing on alcohol.
Yeah, you could slip on a spilled beer and crack your head open.
Yeah.
But I see a shitload of videos from Russia that are like the middle of the day, fucking shithouse wasted people.
Yeah.
I know.
People just doing crazy shit. Like
they're always sitting around in a kitchen, and every guy has their shirt off. Like they're always like in their underwear drinking vodka straight.
And they look like they look like they're in some fucking weird middle of nowhere town with like 35 people in it. And there's like like a lot of the videos I see, I'm like, you guys don't have cops, huh? At all. Because they're just like out out in the street, like hitting each other with boards and then laughing and stuff. You're just like, what is going on here? And one
Where
guy's
are the cops?
One guy's all wasted and gets all serious, and somebody like uppercuts him off his feet, and everybody laughs. You're just like, dude, this looks awesome. I want to go there. Like, the fuck?
This is real news about Russia, not fake news. This is this stuff actually we've seen.
Oh,
you
dude.
you can verify this stuff. Just go down. You find one Russian video. Look up fight videos. You find a Russian one, then just go down the rabbit.
Russian dash cam. That'll get you on.
Those are, dude.
Yeah, that'll get you on track.
Yeah, that's like majority of dash cam videos are from Russia because you can just tell right away license plate. All right, they're and they're crazy.
And you can tell because
shit.
The rule there is if you have a fender bender, you have to fist fight. That's that's the baseline reaction. Is like, well, we'll fist fight and then we'll talk about it.
You know, the girl who I know from Russia, she's from like a small town. I thought she was from a suburb, but she's from a small town. And she said they get some tourism because they have like good spas and like mud baths and stuff. But other than that, there's like nothing around. And she said that she just found out from her family that a family from Oklahoma moved into their town just out of nowhere, just decided to move to Russia. And they liked it so much, they got another family from Oklahoma to move out into the same town. Like, who the fuck are these people from Oklahoma who say, you know what, life would be better in Russia?
I don't know. But maybe, dude. I think if I lived in Oklahoma, I might think that as well. Have you ever been to Oklahoma?
No, but do you guys know anyone who's traveled to Russia?
No, I just know the girl who lived
according
there.
to people I know, an Australian kid who traveled to Russia, it's really hard to, like, you have to get approved, and you can only stay for, they'll say, like, 1 week, like, 3 weeks is, like, max, and if you want to go see certain things, what's that place where the nuclear reactor fucking blew up?
Chernobyl?
I think that might be, yeah, if you want to go see Chernobyl, you got to be escorted around, and well, that's not right. That's Ukraine, right? But
that used to be Russia.
Right. But yeah, they're really weird about letting people into Russia. I feel like it's an awesome place. I talked to some Russians when I was working on a farm. These Russian kids who were studying in Finland, they would, like, when they had free time, they would come volunteer for this farmer, and he would pay him cash. And like, I asked him, I was like, well, asked him what he thinks about Russia, what he thinks about Putin. And he's like, I love it. It's the motherland. He's like, you know, some people don't like Putin. Some people do. It's kind of sounded like America. It's kind of split in half, but he was totally content. He's like, we go back once a month. I love the place. He said he said one thing that was really cool that they're doing is the government's giving away like acres of land and for free, and all you have to do is you can start up any kind of business.
Hey, you know what's weird? You know what's weird?
What?
Just like ending the show right in the middle of your story.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I was fucking going. Whatever.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
OverdoseTalkShow.com. Leave them wanting more. Okay.
Fuck off.
You know what I mean?
Fuck off. I got work to do.
We'll get the website updated. It's a little backed up, but there's a lot of episodes up there that you can go download. All kinds of stuff we've done.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't downloaded all of them.
So go to OverdoseTalkShow.com. Check it out.
Or just YouTube Overdose Talk Show.
Or just subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
If you enjoyed anything, click subscribe.
If you enjoyed anything in your life, it's probably this fucking show. Let's be honest.
Right. Let's be real about
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Think you're better than us?
Good night.
Vinny, you're a fucking asshole.
I don't know. I was just feeling
No,
that.
I wanted
You talked about lots
I wanted
of
to
things.
tie into. We never talked about. Did you guys see the article? There's a real life Hunger Games TV show that's coming out in Russia where all the contestants sign up that like saying they know they could like kill each other, they could be killed. Then they're going out in like negative 40-degree weather, being dropped off with no food in the snow and just left there. And like they have a button on them and they can quit at any time. And there's a team like 30 miles away that'll come pick them up by a helicopter. But people are competing to win this money, and they're gonna film it, and they've got cameras all throughout the.
How much money?
Like $40 at least.
Yeah.
1.65 million.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, and 0 degrees Celsius weather. So
is that really happening?
Yeah, this is on the Daily Beast. I saw it a long time ago on the Drudge Report. I just forgot to bring it to the show. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Wait, listen to this article's fucking spin. Having won their last game, the American election, Russia is moving to Game 2.
Oh my god.
Fuck this.
Dude, what's the game show called?
Yeah.
What's the game show called?
Business Insider. Let's see.
Type in real life Hunger Games, Russia.
Wait, a Russian reality show in which crimes such as rape and murder are allowed to be launched next year.
Get the fuck out of here! Come on, that's gotta be fake, dude.
They're allowed to rape and murder.
Independent.co.uk, Telegraph, The Blaze, BBC.
Dude, look it up right now. Google it right now. This is what I wanted to.
I got
This is what I wanted to talk to when I was talking to Russia, and you fucking ended the show.
Well, I'm still recording right now, so I'll just leave it in.
Okay.
You son of a bitch.
You son of a gun.
So.
You can't record us without our knowledge.
Rape and murder are legal. That can't be real, dude. That can't be.
It is. Yeah, I've seen the article Andrea's talking about. I can't. I'm reading different ones.
That's too fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, for real.
Organizers have said everything is allowed, including rape and murder. Contestants will reportedly be required to sign a waiver acknowledging that they could be subject to such attacks. Everything's allowed: fighting, alcohol, murder, rape, smoking, anything. An advert for the show reads, each contestant gives consent that they could be maimed, even killed. 2,000 cameras, 9,000 hectares, I don't know what those are, and 30 lives.
That's like a measurement of space.
Okay, yeah. Would-be participants are also warned that Russian criminal procedures will still apply, that the police are free to arrest anyone that commits a crime on the show.
But you won't be kicked off the show.
Right.
For, let's see, fighting, alcohol, murder, rape, smoking, anything.
Anything goes on the show, but they're not guaranteeing any immunity.
Yeah.
Which basically means that the police will charge them.
Still, though, you've seen, people get in, crazy fights on American reality shows, and I'm sure the Cruz or whatever just stop it at a certain point. They want to get their shot, but there's got to be I don't know. And they always sign waivers that say they won't do it. So as soon as somebody hits someone on a reality show in America, they get kicked off.
Dude, this is fucking nuts. I can't believe that that's real.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't stop recording.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the show. I don't see a name for it yet. But
do you want to just play that game? Do you want to just play that game one-on-one when I'm in town? Just try to kill each other.
They're calling it a survival challenge. So, the overall... overall, you're just supposed to survive the Siberian winter.
They're going to make Survivor Man look like a pussy.
Yeah.
All right, now we really have to go.
All of you have watched the Lost TV series. Oh, okay.
Well, it's 2 in the morning.
Yep, bye-bye.
I gotta go.
Bye.
I love you guys.
Bye.
Love you too.
I love you, Andrea.
I love you.
I'm glad you didn't get sucked up in the hurricane, buddy.
It was a tornado.
It was a tornado, and that's very insensitive for you to mix that up, but okay.
Yeah.
Good. It's thought that counts.
Too soon?
Ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. Tornado.
Several houses were lost, as I understand. So stop joking around.